How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses with two of your favorite show hosts, are still.
And Wallace and Fern is being restrained by his work again. He's going to try and show up anyway, but he is certainly going to be late. So we will mush on nevertheless. Bring you the latest games commentary for the week. I would say news, but nothing new happened in games. There was a lot of drama this week, but most of it was not games related. But if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in the Discord server, which you can get to by clicking on the link provided in the show description on the archive video on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. So, for this week, we're doing things a bit out of order. Since Fern is not here, and he is the only one of us, aside from me, that is likely to play the new Donkey Kong game, I have advised him ahead of time to not spoil himself. I don't know how successful he'll be, because I'm pretty sure it's all over the everything by now if you even search any little thing Nintendo or Donkey Kong related, but for the sake of this stream, if you care about Donkey Kong spoilers, when you see Donkey Kong holding the banana, spoiler talk is in session. I will remove him when the spoiler talk is not happening. So he's going to stay up. So I guess we'll jump into that so we can get that out of the way before Fern gets here. Switch 2. I've been looking for a game to play on it. Was planning to pick up Donkey Kong after the announcement trailer, and had my initial impressions last week, which were positive but not mind-blowing. So, I finished the game this week. I completed the game, actually. It's not very hard to 100% the game after you beat it. That's a system I might get into once we get past the spoiler talk, because I need to do that first. So, those of you that have talked to me this week may have noticed I was very happy all week and blissfully unaware of everything else because I was enjoying what was happening in Donkey Kong. And that comes down to what happens at the end of the game. So, last spoiler warning: if you actually plan on playing this game and you have somehow managed to dodge notes about what's in the game at the end of the game and who the final boss is, leave now. And come back when the Donkey Kong sticker is gone from the stream. Right. So, throughout the game's marketing and the lead up to it, there had been no indication of the turn this game would take, and had marketed this corporation of Kongs called Void Co. as the Kongs that are going to be the villains in this one. And they're the ones that are digging under the earth to find the Banandium root, this magical wish-granting root of magical banana gemstone that can grant the wish of anybody that grabs it. Now, the Banandium root, as it turns out, is 100% real and does exactly what it says on the tin for as far as the wish granting goes. So they weren't crazy. What Voidco didn't expect was what happens in the first scene I linked in the live show chat with the spoiler tags. I think I successfully removed the embed, so it shouldn't be spoilering people there. But in that one, you get that scene takes place immediately after the final fight with Void Kong, the leader of Voidco. And his boss fight's good. It's not the most mind-blowing boss fight. It's mostly a set piece. But it's challenging enough. You do have to pay attention. The opossums of the world will definitely get stuck on it. But I'll get more into that later. But you beat that boss, and it has set this up as the end of the game. Now, given the tone and the way things are going, you're pretty sure it's not the end of the game, and there's going to be a little bit more, but you're not quite sure where it's going. And if you had been avoiding all the spoilers and only casually glanced at the marketing and watched like the reveal trailer and stuff, you would have had no idea what's about to happen. So, history lesson. When Rare created the Donkey Kong Country franchise, this is being the Country games 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo, and the N64 Donkey Kong 64. They had a specific villain that they used who was a genuine threat and menace to the Kongs, but also just insane and lovably crazy. And him and his Kremlin crew were in all the games until Rare got bought out by Microsoft. And then he made like a couple appearances in some spin off games. But otherwise, Nintendo has been very afraid to touch much of what Rare created for this game, this series, in the country line anyway. Well, backing it up a bit, back at the game is set up in layers, and at every 100 layers is a new level. So at layer 1100, this reveal happens at 1400. You bump into Diddy and Dixie Kong with their classic designs. They haven't been Pixarified like Donkey Kong. And you've encountered Cranky Kong and Rambi, who's been carrying him through the levels. And if you find him, he does a little rant at you, and he also has his classic design, as does Rambi, with very little alterations. Um, and Cranky Kong will mention he's chasing some rumors of some dangerous banana bandits into the hole, and that's why he's going down. Now, unlike everybody else in the game, who uses an icon of the character's face when they next to their name when they say it, they deliberately leave that out of Cranky's dialogue because they talk in N64 Walnuts. You know, the Banjo Kazooie talk in the game. So there's no language there except for Pauline, who speaks in perfect English. And Cranky Kong deliberately leaves out who he's actually chasing. And after you beat Void Kong, you see him dive for what he thinks is the Bonandium root, and you notice it's a golden dome with a oddly belly button shaped indentation on the top. And right away, your brain's gonna go, they're not really gonna bring it back, are they? And then your brain will start going through the process as the scene is playing out. Wait a minute. All the enemies have been fossilized crocodile like creatures of some kind. Oh no. They've been setting this up the whole time. And in that Rambi layer I mentioned before, where you meet Dixie and Diddy Kong, where you race them on Rambi, they just straight up tell you the country games are canon. Like, this is not a prequel or anything. The game, all the country games happened. At least the SNES ones did, as far as Bonanza is concerned. And when Void Kong dives for what he thinks is the Bonandium root, a giant green scaly fist punts this new loser villain out of the plot for the rest of the game. And you see the big giant bloodshot eye pop up on screen in a pseudo jump scare. It was not a scare for me.
The old firm is back.
Yes. And audible hooting and hollering was done in my office when this happened. And they brought K. Rool back, and you see him standing there in his Donkey Kong Country OG appearance, classic design, fully intact down to the bloodshot eye.
The inexplicable reptile that has a belly button.
Yes, on his armor at least. But so
I guess I didn't know that they ever stopped using him.
he's been.
I thought he was like the King DDD of Donkey Kong.
No, they've shelved him since '64. They haven't touched him since Rare got bought. He came back for Smash because of a fan vote, which might have given them the clue that they should really include him in this game since people like him. And part of the reason people like K. Rool is because he is a goof in that he's a showboater, basically. And he is insane. And he is just pure evil. There is no redeeming qualities to King K. Rool. He's just out for whatever selfish desire he has today, and will burn down everybody in his path to get it.
I thought that was who the crocodiles that they talk about in the history of Penacony was based on.
Yes, quite possible. But yeah, K. Rool's just been MIA from the mainline Donkey Kong series for going on like 25 something years, probably. Whenever DK64 came out, he's just been gone. Like in when they brought the Country series back with Retro Studios to make the new games in Country Returns, they invented some new Tiki bad guys to take his place. And in the sequel to that everybody loves and says is the best playing country game of all time, Tropical Freeze, they use the Snowmads, some walrus-looking Viking dudes, and they're okay, but they're not the Kremlings. Kremlings are who we know, and we've grown up with them. And it doesn't quite feel like Donkey Kong without K. Rool there. And seeing him pop up with his entire design intact and acting just like K. Rool, being the same showboating evil monster that we've always known him to be, it made me so happy. So he's the main villain now. Voidco's CEO has been punched into the banana sun and will not be seen again for the rest of the game. And so now you have to dive deeper into the core, and it changes the objective from find the Bananium route to stop King K. Rool. Because he's got a lead on you and is clearly going to get there first.
I'm astonished they managed to keep this quiet.
I'm astonished too.
Because it would have been a major selling point if they had just put him on the box.
Oh, yeah.
But they decided to go for the long game.
And they don't just go for the long game in the marketing. I guarantee it was leaked beforehand. This is part of why I was glad I don't do social media. But for those of us that didn't go on social media and either intentionally or not were on media blackout for this game, this was a total surprise. And the more you think about it, they didn't just play the long game with the marketing. They played the long game in the game itself. Because there are hints of it all throughout the game that this is actually what everything is building up to. This game is not about the dumb Banandian route in Donkey Kong wishing for bananas, or Pauline getting home, or Voidco's evil scheme to nebulously get more gold or whatever Void Kong wants. It's all about bringing K. Rool back. and reviving the Donkey Kong Country brand as it was.
Explains why they were so willing to go for such a bland corporate enemy.
Yeah. So
because that wasn't the point at all.
No. It does take a long time to get there, though. Like, the first 2 acts of the game, it acts like Voidco is the bad guys. And they're passable villains. They're not bad, but they're not K. Rool and the Kremlings. They just don't have the same flair that K. Rool does. Like, theatrics are his shtick. Every single game he shows up in, he has a new alias and a new dumb way he's presenting himself that's incredibly over the top. And furthermore, they justify his disappearance from the franchise for so long by saying that the reason he's been gone is because he got stuck down at the center of the earth going after the Banandian route for a zillion years with his crew.
So, which generation of the Kong clan put him down there, or was the last to beat him up?
The last to beat him up would be Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, everybody in 64. We last saw him getting Team Rocket's blasting off again from the boxing ring match at the end of that game.
So he's basically been out of the picture for the last 20-odd years.
Yeah.
Of our time.
Yeah. So he's just been stuck down there. And they totally lampshade this. It's just like, I've been stuck here for so long with me and my crew. Where are those banana bandits anyway? Oh, useless cars, all of them. I don't need them. And then he goes and dives into the hole towards the true center of the earth to go grab the Banandium root. And then you dive after him, and you have the next layer, which is the next full level, which is where you're chasing K. Rool. And it's a special layer that is broken up more into sub-layers, with each one having its own unique style of level layout that you have to figure out how to traverse and explore in. And the first one you bump into, there's just a giant golden statue of K. Rool. Like, oh, how'd that get here? And then you find one of the basic enemies that you've met a billion times. They're little crocodile headed rock monsters with tiny little legs that you normally punch up, and there's a skeleton inside. You punch the skeleton once and it dies. You break this one's outer shell and break the stone crocodile head that surrounds it, and you see a classic Kremling inside of it. fully modeled with the unique animations and everything, just for this last section of the game. And you punch it, and it does the Donkey Kong SNES sound effect, honk, when you kill it, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. And then you go down another layer, and the flying enemies are back, and you throw a rock at them to break their outer shell like you do before, and you see it's the little buzzards from the Donkey Kong Country series, the Neckies, and they make the same caw 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 sound when they die that they did in the Super Nintendo games. All of this is just nostalgia bait, every bit of it, and I don't give a
Yeah,
crap. I do not give a
I'm
crap.
still sitting in his office furiously soy jacking and drowning in member berries.
I do not give a crap because I love that franchise on the Super Nintendo as a kid, and the franchise I love had effectively been what I was worried they would do with Devil May Cry to me, where it just was gone basically, and it just came back, and I was not expecting it to come back. And so you get there, you go further down, you see the Kremlings and the TNT barrels are back, the ones that suicide bomb you, and the zingers are back, and they make the same zinger buzzy noises, and it is just evoking this sense of remember these things when you were a kid. Like it's almost a different level because the franchise's main villains have been put on ice for so long, and we just
Yeah, but
assumed
it's
they were
like
gone forever.
they tried to do this crap with like Star Wars, but that would require them to not have been constantly milking Star Wars every single moment of every single day in between A New Hope and the new Star Wars.
Yeah,
But if they actually did have to ice that part of the property for an extended period of time, then it's going to have a lot more impact.
yeah. So all of this and seeing all the Kremlings and all the raw amount of effort that went into giving every single basic enemy an alternate Kremlin model once you break the outer rocky shell really blew me away with how much effort they put into it. And the level design for this final level is really good too. It's a lot of fun to take on the gauntlet of trials it presents and still find ways to explore in it using your full arsenal of abilities you have at this point. Like it's a really good final level, just mechanically. And then you finally get to the core of the planet, and there's your boy sitting there with the Banandium root in hand, and he uses it to go Bonanza mode, like Donkey Kong's been doing with his various transformations with Pauline's help. He's K. Rool Bonanzas with the Banandium root and turns into, well, it doesn't really turn into anything different. He's just a crocodile with bananas. Uh, and you
That's sort
start,
of the joke, really.
yeah, and it's a fight with K. Rool. Now, this part is going to take some explaining for people that don't play this style of game anymore, or even played it back in the day, the Collectathon. These games are not known for their stellar boss fights. They can be memorable set pieces or okay fights at best. Maybe they'll have a cool gimmick, but rarely are they just straight up boss fights. And what I mean by that is a boss with a health bar with ways to open it up to get more damage in, ways for you to be proactive or reactive, interact with the various attacks and mechanics, or find creative ways to avoid them to get more damage in, or have patterns that you can learn and memorize to do the fight better. They're not like that normally. They are normally boss will do a set routine, and then you jump on its head 3 times. K. Rool is not like that. K. Rool is a proper full boss fight, and a really dang good one. He is not particularly challenging, but the more you do the fight, the more little, and this is the second link, by the way, I posted a video of a guy that mostly had a clue what he was doing for all the phases, showing off all 3 phases of the fight. And once you figure out the fight and know the hard counters, it's not a hard fight. There ain't that much to learn, but for this particular type of game, it blew me out of the water. They were willing to put this much effort in and make a proper full boss fight. And it felt really good. Especially after all the other boss fights to me had been really lackluster in the game. The K. Rool made up for it. And there are all kinds of Super Nintendo throwbacks, like despite being, a transformed crocodile with banana powers now, he still whips out his stupid musket from the Donkey Kong Country 2. It starts shooting bullets at you, and you can use your Kong Bonanza to shoot the bullets he shoots back at him with a charge punch to get a stun window and and go in and wail on him, or he'll start vacuuming up, trying to vacuum you up like he does with it in also in Donkey Kong Country 2. And you can just grab a chunk of the terrain and throw it in his gun, and it'll backfire just like when you used to throw the bullets back into it in the old Super Nintendo games. It's like, oh man, they knew exactly what they were marketing, what they were building this boss fight for. Like this was made by people that actually really liked this fight, these fights in the Super Nintendo, or somebody on the team did and made the entire rest of the team sit down and replay the boss fight about 30 times. Because it's just a big love letter to people that played the Super Nintendo games. So you go through the fight, and it's a really good fight, and you take him down. And Donkey Kong and Pauline make their wishes on the Bonandium route. Pauline wants to go back to the surface to go home, and Donkey Kong wants bananas because he's Donkey Kong.
Because that's basically the only thing on his mind at all times.
Yeah, he almost stays with Pauline at the very very ending, but she tells him to just go and out and live his dream of finding bananas, and that they'll see each other again one day. So he still goes out to find more bananas even at the end of the game. So that's cool. The Bonandium route summons a tower of golden bananas that catches DK and Pauline and pushes them through the opposite end of the Earth on a giant banana vader to take them to the surface on a giant tower of bananas. So this is all cool and everything, and would make for a nice ending. But then it starts to as it starts to fade out, and the victory music starts to play. The victory music starts to fade out, and a bit of a sea shanty tune kicks in, and it says "the end," or it shows the credits, and the credits are not real credits. They all start listing Kremlins as part of the cast and crew of the game, and you're like, oh, are they doing the Donkey Kong Country 1 thing again? And then you hear Gangplank Galleon kicking in full with a brand new rockin' remix that sounds fire as crap. And you see the question mark pop up at the end of the fake credits. And it zooms in on K. Rool's face, and his eyes shoot open. And then he starts zooming up the giant tower of bananas with his propeller pack from Donkey Kong Country 3 to get ahead of Donkey Kong and Pauline to get the Bonandium route back so that he can still have his wish granted. And this is where I lost it. Because this was just the coolest thing in the world. Especially as an old school fan. And this phase of the fight is not super interesting. It is mostly just here to have the fake out ending again. But it is a lot of fun. The video I showed doesn't actually show how to do the fight properly. It looks like that guy was trying to see if stuff would happen if you just didn't throw bananas from the tower at him. But as the tower is rising, you pick up chunks of the tower and chuck it at K. Rool before he can dive bomb the tower on his propeller pack. And at various points, he uses Void Kong's little magic remote to make holes in the tower that you have to dodge while you're throwing crap at him and dodging him. But it's not a particularly challenging section, and you only really need to land the last hit to end that phase. And then you get to the end of the Bonandium Tower section, and K. Rool gives up fighting you and just boosts after the Bonandium route and grabs it as soon as you break through the surface, and you wind up in New Donk City, the place where Pauline was in Mario Odyssey, and as her older self anyway. And you see him standing on top of New Donk City Hall with the Bonandium route taken back, and he uses it to transform New Donk City into a hellscape that he'll for his base for his new kingdom, and just cover it in lava and fire and Bonandium mush and with all kinds of crocodile heads, and changes all the referencing advertising and stuff that's on the walls and stuff into King K. Rool related stuff. It looks really cool. And then you have to do a climbing section where not just climbing, you're running through the entire city, moving up in elevation to scale the city rooftops to make your way up to where K. Rool is. up at the top of City Hall, and you get there eventually after a really cool set piece moment where you're dodging crap and uh, and killing Kremlings along the way and trying to get up there before the rising lava catches you. And you get up there, and as you approach it, running towards the barrel to blast into the arena to fight him at the top of the thing, you notice that the arena is shaped just like the boxing match arena from Donkey Kong 64. And we have a proper three-phase version of the final boss that we fought earlier, where he goes super evil banana mode and turns into K. Rool, King of Rot, and he gets covered in rotten banana mush, and looks like something out of flippin' Elden Ring. Sounds like his name's from it too, but you just don't care because this is the coolest, most peak crap ever, and have a very long, like 10 to 12 minute boss fight that's three phases for the very final fight with him, which has a ludicrous number of mechanics, which killed me legitimately at least 3 or 4 times just through execution
Considering
mistakes.
how trivial you said the rest of the game is, there are going to be a lot of people who get very frustrated, it sounds like.
Yeah, they do put a shop right next to where you respawn, so you can restock on consumables. Your health refills and your you don't really need the banana energy refills because the fight gives you unlimited banana energy. But yeah, he's not a push. He's not hard boss, but he's not a pushover. And that final fight really does a proper super good final boss in one of these type of games, and it blew me away the whole time because every phase of the fight is incredibly well crafted and fun to do, and it's totally unique. Very little in this section aside from him still having the stupid musket and having the musket counters references the older games. Most of this is new stuff, and so they still found a way to expand on K. Rool the whole time, even in this final boss fight, as reference heavy as it is, to show that he's back, and he's not just back with his old tricks. He's got some new ones too. So it
I
was
suppose there are two questions here, I suppose. And the first is it actually a good game or not? Are you even able to judge that?
uh,
Um, because
overall.
you're wallowing in nostalgia, something wicked, and if a game has like 15 minutes of good content and 5 hours of bad content, that's not necessarily constitutive of a good game.
So my opinion before it, I noted, was moderately good, and I think that holds for most of it. It does a lot of interesting things and improves on the Mario Odyssey formula. I wouldn't say it's mind blowing to me, but it's not bad at all. It's not even mediocre. They give you so many options for exploration and ways you can traverse the environment and creatively solve puzzles that, especially once you get a bit deeper and the puzzles stop being, for toddlers, it gets to be a lot of fun after like the first couple layers. Just seeing what dumb crap the game will let you get away with. There's a lot of fun to be had in that, and I genuinely enjoyed exploring the maps on that part of the game. Uh, the rest of the boss fights are disappointing because they just don't have enough health. They die in a few hits and feel very much so like collectathon bosses. It's almost a case of meet its condition 2 or 3 times and jump on its head. Is how easy they are. It isn't until Void Kong shows up for his rematch that really changes. Um, but other than the boss fights, the main gameplay of the game is a ton of fun. It's not the most mind blowing thing in the world, but if you liked Mario Odyssey, which is made by the same team, you can see where they've learned lessons and made everything from doing generic golden banana hunting to traversing the level to solving the puzzles just way more interesting. And just finding creative ways to solve them all that maybe the game didn't actually intend. You can get a lot of enjoyment from that if you choose to take that route, and I did quite a bit. And I enjoyed my time with it, and I would have rated it a moderately good game before K. Rool showed up. But
The follow-up question then is this the killer app that gets you to buy a console, or is it not really good enough to justify a console by itself? The
it,
library needs to expand first.
it could have been a console mover if it came out right at launch. I think there is enough here praiseworthy, uh, even before, even when it's still in its easier sections, the very beginning, to warrant most people to go, yeah, this is a fun enough video game to move a console. I really want to play this. This seems like a lot of fun. And as they go on, there's more and more there that maybe people could share with them and be like, oh yeah, I really want to try this. And of course, everything after K Rule is Turbo Peak, so it could have been a console mover. The problem is it just missed the launch. It missed the launch and had to rely on the terrible Mario Kart World instead. But it would have worked great as the main attraction with Mario Kart World as a supplement. That would have moved consoles, and I would have gotten behind that as a launch lineup. Now they do have Metroid Prime 4 coming out for another game in the tube, but as far as I know, that and the next Pokemon game are pretty much all they've got in the tube right now. They do have a direct coming up. It might have happened today for all I know. Soon, DM, that will let us know where they're going. But as it stands right now, unless you were a super big fan of Mario Odyssey, uh, I don't know if this is going to be enough for me to recommend you get a Switch to. If you were a die-hard classic Donkey Kong Country fan and that's for some reason didn't listen to my warnings, yeah, go play this game. But this might be worth getting a Switch to for.
I am willing to buy games for a franchise. Like I bought a Switch purely because of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And the only games I own on that device are Monster Hunter games. But for a franchise that I love, I'm willing to go in on a system. For just a genre, I'm not.
Yeah, but if you're not a big fan of classic Donkey Kong Country, if you're only lukewarm on the Mario Odyssey style of collectathon, this is not going to do anything for you. My opinions on the full game will settle as I go, but because of the way the ending happened, I don't think it's odd at all. I'm becoming more and more positive to some of the other aspects of the game as they get recontextualized, and I realize what they were building up to. Because it is an accidental masterclass in setting this crap up. I don't know how much of it was intentional. I'm sure at least a little bit of it was, but they just wound up accidentally setting it up so perfectly, with just enough hints that if you hadn't been paying attention to the hints they were dropping because you just assumed K. Rool was written out along with the rest of Rare's catalog, you when it happens, you'll have a moment where just all the puzzle pieces in your heads that were laying on the floor that you didn't even see before start clicking into place.
Especially that this is something that's very how shall I say, fixed to a moment in time,
Yeah,
because King K. Rool is now back.
yeah,
And as of that point, all of this gunpowder is now gone
yeah,
for every future generation that might play the game.
yeah. The chances of people not being spoiled that K. Rool is in the game decrease by the day. And I would wager 90% of the population that has a passing interest in the game probably knows by now whether they played it or not. That's just the way social media works. But for me, that didn't have it spoiled because I don't go onto the soul sucking vacuum that is social media. Uh, it was a wild ride for me and a ton of fun. And
Yeah, I mean, I can sort of see where they're coming from. The businesses that just have given up, like Hoyo, like they just don't even try to hide spoilers anymore because they know that there's this like heaving, seething mass of human flesh which is just desperate to spoil everything the second that they get wind of the faintest piece of leaked information. And so, like, they've basically just shrugged and said, "We can't fight the beast anymore. We already tried that; it didn't work. We've spent so much money on lawsuits against our own people who have turned bleaker," type of thing. But it can work for those people who have not hooked themselves up to the Lotus Eater machine.
yeah, and it really was an experience that was given to me by my lack of participation in the soul sucking machine that is social media. If I had used social media and searched anything related to Donkey Kong on it, or even looked at posts for too long on it, this would have been spoiled for me. I know it.
Yeah, so I have not looked at anything Nintendo related at all. So I didn't see anything at all. I had no idea King K. Rool was in the game. I didn't wonder if he was because I thought that he was in every Donkey Kong game. But yeah, I'm wondering if I'm just going to start getting fed Donkey Kong videos now, though, because we've talked about it on the show, and Google basically passes everything that we talk about to the algorithm.
Yeah, but yeah. The other thing I just like about K. Rool as a villain is he's just unapologetically evil. There's
Yeah,
no
he has
more.
no qualms about being a cock. He has no tragic backstory.
uh,
He's
There,
just one thing now.
there is ice. Oh, so this is a human city. Let's burn it down and turn it to rotten banana mush. and then, and goes Elden Ring mode. Like this is K. Rool, and he's such a
I expect a lot of people would sneer at that these days, though, because they've been, most people these days are raised in the milieu of there being no such thing as good or evil.
yeah. But it's just refreshing not only to see a villain that's unapologetically evil come back after being absent for so long, but for them to bet the farm on him and maintain his showboating nature. Because the other defining trait of King K. Rool is the dude loves to put on a show. His
Well, I mean,
partic-
that every old school supervillain used to be like that, though, right? Like that used to be how you knew that they were the villain. Is not really that they had a bad scheme, but they were also hilariously narcissistic about it.
yeah, like who
That
else?
was the difference between a villain and a supervillain.
Yeah, like K. Rool builds boxing rings to have his final showdown with the Kongs in, and uh, like dresses up in a new avatar or alias every single time. Like goes from King K. Rool to Commander K. Rool to Baron K. Rulenstein in the third one. Like he just and does all kinds of over the top crap in those games that'll take too long to get into. But he's just a big fun villain that you just don't see in modern media. And I think that's why he had so much hit for me because I don't often think about K. Rool anymore. Like he had faded from memory ever since Rare got bought and Nintendo basically relegated him to the dustbin of history. But the after seeing him come back, I'm like, it was a big gamble in today's audience with today's audiences to bring back a villain like this because this is like a late '80s, early '90s villain.
I mean, I think that what sticks out to me based on your description is not that they gambled on King K. Rool or whatever, but that they actually sort of gave a poke in the eye, it sounds like, to the whole, in our day, in this modern era, the villain has to be a Aesop about corporate evil.
Yeah, yeah. K. Rool comes in and punches that right into the banana sun, and it's never heard from again.
It's like that is basically just an indictment of that type of storytelling. It's like it's like they're saying that this is just a bad way to write a story. We don't need to have this whole, oh well, I mean, the corpo types are evil, pro-communist bullcrap as the undertone to everything. Sometimes you can just have a bad guy and have a slugfest with them.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that they did. And it just it took a big dumb crocodile with a bloodshot eye to really make me appreciate be happy that I got a Switch 2 so far. But your purchase with this game will be limited. It's not for everybody. If you don't like the Mario Odyssey style of game, you're not going to enjoy this game at all. If you didn't play the Donkey Kong Country franchise on the Super Nintendo, it's not going to hold all the reveals at the end of the game are not going to hold a lot of weight for you. But if those two things fall into your bucket, and I do enjoy Mario Odyssey, I'm not a super duper big fan of it, but I like that I like collectathons still. I still enjoy playing them. Uh, and I played the Donkey Kong Country Super Nintendo games to death. I played 64 a lot too, but I played the Country series on the Super Nintendo way more, and that's way more what these games are leaning. But if those two things are there for you, I mean, this game's good. It's worth recommending the system to you if you fall into those two boats. And while I don't think that's an insignificant number of people, uh, you're all the people that applies to are probably like 30 something years old. So yeah, I enjoyed the game immensely. I went back and 100%ed it. Um, it did not take very long to 100% after I beat the game. And the K rule section is the entire third act of the game. Like that last layer is quite long, and the boss fights themselves make up like if you do them in one life, including the cutscenes around them, it's no joke. Like probably an hour of content, and that doesn't count any deaths you may have where you have to start over. Uh, but when I went back to 100% the game after it, it's very easy to and painless to 100% in this one. Well, I say easy. All the puzzles to solve that you got to solve for the bananas are all still there, and I got most of them going through the game. Just because I was being thorough and I'm experienced in lawn mowing. Uh, and But they give you clothes you can purchase for Donkey Kong and Pauline, and these clothes give you special effects. And one of the ties you can get for Donkey Kong lets you spawn treasure chests randomly when you just destroy terrain. So what you do is you turn into a heffalump and you turn on the vacuum cleaner and you start vacuuming up all the rocks in a level and just make treasure chests pop out. And in these treasure chests, they have a relatively high chance to spawn a map that will show you the location of one of the collectibles you need for 100% that you don't already have marked on your map. So you can spend 5 minutes on each level just vacuuming, and you'll have a map of where everything is. So when you're doing cleanup, great for that, especially if you were thorough on your lawn mowing the first time. Doing the treasure chest lawn mow for cleanup stops you from having to go look up a guide on the internet, and keeps it all in game and makes it all very painless, which is very nice. And even the obligatory currency farm at the end of the game only took like an hour to get all the crap you need to pay for. Now, granted, I barely died going throughout the game, and dying is not cheap. It takes like 500 gold from you every time. Uh, but uh, but yeah, it's a good time. If you have a Switch 2 already, go buy it. Like, just give it a shot. I think it's worth it to scoop it. If it's even at its $80 price point, I think you'll easily get if you as long as you're not just bum rushing to the end of the game, you've got a solid like 30 hours minimum of content, depending on how good you are at lawn mowing, and then up to like 50 if you go to 100% it. For really pushing it for the slower folks, you could probably get as much as 60 or 70. And most of it is quality content, with only the first couple hours being kind of a slog because it's really brain dead easy for the first couple of layers. But yeah, it is good and worth your money. So I give the game a strong recommendation for those that own a Switch 2. For those that don't own a Switch 2, uh, well, I've already mentioned the type of people it will appeal to, and you can make a judgment call based on that. The $180 or $480 or whatever it'll cost you, 580. I'm not even sure how much the dumb thing costs anymore. Um, that's a bit tougher to justify for one game, but you can consider it depending on how much those type of games appeal to you and how much you miss the
And
big dumb
then,
crocodile.
and then you got to watch a normie play it.
Yeah. So the opossum scooped the game and was playing it. And he was playing it in the break room of the office, which I was fine with because it meant he was not pestering me while I was trying to do actual work. And I walked in there, and I'm watching him try to hit flying enemies by punching underneath them for a solid 2 minutes straight. He did not. He accidentally reset his skill points and put all his skill points into the health upgrade, and didn't realize that each subsequent upgrade to health costs more skill points, and was very confused where all his skill points went. Uh, he Yeah, it didn't just stop there. Basic movement, he could not do things like jump in the air and hold left trigger to fly with the ostrich. This was too complicated for him. He couldn't press and hold A to super jump with the snake. Like this was beyond him. Like it was like watching a toddler play. And all of a sudden I
Is he like
understood.
actually brain damaged?
I'm sure the drugs have not helped that he's done throughout his life, but like I'm sitting here watching him like when I was 6 years old I could play games better than this. And he isn't totally inexperienced at games. He's like one of the highest levels in Red Dead 2 online in on however that ranking and leveling works. He's sunk like MMO levels of hours into that game, so I know he knows how to operate a controller and play video games, but he just hasn't played a 3D platform in a while.
Have you watched him play it? Maybe he just plays like this. He just plays for that long.
I have no idea. He was getting frustrated with it and kept swearing that he liked it, and I'm sitting there watching him barely be able to jump and attack things. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, have you gone out of your way to get any bananas before you moved on? No, I've just been moving from objective to objective. I have him open his map. He's found no waypoints. Put down, talk to none of the little houses you can talk to get yourself bonus health on a layer or and make teleport points. He's opened no shortcuts. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness. And he kept getting lost trying to find where the objective was. I'm like, you have a map. It's a really good map too.
Did he know that?
He did. He didn't know how to use it though. I'm like, oh my goodness. Suddenly I understand why the first two layers are as easy as they are. But yeah, that was painful. But yeah, Donkey Kong has eaten my whole week this week and part of my week last week. And that's pretty much all my week has been going through that. And I wanted to cram it all in case Fern got here at some point. Uh, and so that's what I got for Donkey Kong. I posted a link to the reveal video and the boss fight. The boss fight video is quite long. The reveal video, I think, is like 7 minutes for that scene, but you can skip around it to the point where you might want to see some of the scenes where he shows up. But all of that is a LinkedIn live show chat. It should be spoiler tagged, and I think the embeds are removed, so you should be good. Also, I linked the earlier in the week the remix of Gameplank Galleon that plays during Phase 2 of the K Roll boss fight before you get to New Donk City because it's just fire as crap. It's the best remix of that I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot of fan remixes of Gameplank Galleon.
It seems to be a fan favorite, that song.
Yeah, it's
It
just
gets a lot of play.
yeah, and they've got a whole new version that's just really really good. So I've been rocking out to that all week because I'm a looper. But yeah, you got any other things you want to know before Fern gets here and I can't spoil Donkey Kong anymore?
I wouldn't know what to ask, to be totally honest. I'm not experienced with Donkey Kong games, and I honestly don't really even play collectathons either,
Yeah,
because I tend to lose steam before getting to the. There's no point in playing them unless you intend to get everything, really, because most of them are not really great shakes as far as story is concerned. So I just generally don't play them very much.
yeah,
Like even the game that I played probably that I sunk the single player game that I probably sunk the most hours into in total historically has probably been Ocarina of Time, and I still never even got everything in there. To be fair, mostly I was playing that in an era before we had an internet connection, so things that I just didn't know where they were, I just didn't know where they were. But
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember having to figure stuff out with Banjo Kazooie and Tooie. Uh, I think I got a stretch because I got Banjo Tooie for Christmas. I think the year it came out, and for my birthday, I got the strategy guide for it months after I'd been trying to noodle my way through the game. But yeah, we didn't have good internet then either.
man, I remember strategy guides. I think I've got like a Prima guide for Guild Wars.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if I went through my attic, I would find oodles of them.
And I think I have a friend's like Brady or Prima for World of Warcraft vanilla.
Oh yeah, I've got some WoW vanilla books around somewhere. I think I have the WoW Atlas somewhere. Oh,
Strategy guides. Now we've got the glories of Fextra Life instead.
yeah, yeah. There was an age where we were in the golden age of wikis, and then that died when fandom got bought out.
My goodness, I get so ticked off every time I go to the fandom wikis now. They seem to keep spawning this obnoxious sidebar thing
Oh yeah,
for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what it's even supposed to do.
and it's an incredibly uBlock resistant sidebar as well. Like I blocked that thing with custom blocks multiple times, and it just will not stay gone. Also, Google has redoubled its effort to stamp down the hard ad blockers. So uBlock Origin is now just straight up banned from Chrome. So I've had to be extra sure that I open Brave instead of Chrome instead of just logging in using the work Chrome account to browse stuff.
Yeah, I've been thinking of switching to Brave recently because apparently they've found a way to block a bunch of other stuff that's external to Brave itself as well,
Hmm.
that Microsoft uses to record things that you're doing and so forth. Like
Yeah,
they're like it seems like basically Microsoft these days just sort of screen caps whatever you're doing periodically.
yeah. On Windows 11 it does. I don't know if they built that into Windows 10 or not.
You know, they're going to stop supporting Windows 10 anyway. I hate Windows 11 so much. I have to use it at work. It's such a pain in the backside. Like
Hmm.
most Windows is like I haven't transitioned because I don't like change. But Windows 8.0 and Windows 11 have both been incredibly unpleasant experiences.
Yeah, I was able to get a handle on Windows 10 eventually, relatively quickly once I switched over. Every time I have to touch somebody's PC that has Windows 11 installed on it, I'm just
Yeah, my travel laptop has it, my work laptop has it, my work PC has it. I have to be used to it. I use it all the time, except it still doesn't get any better. It's not a matter of getting used to it, it's just bad.
yeah. So yeah, all right. I think I'll put the Golden Donkey Kong away from the stream, so y'all are now spoiler clear. And we can move on to Vols Week.
All right, so it's been a rough week for me. Not the roughest of weeks, but a pretty rough week nevertheless. I survived corporate appraisal season, only to realize that it wasn't over, along with everybody else. There seems to be a certain amount of friction going on at the upper layer right now because apparently there were multiple tiers of corporate crap that were acting at cross purposes. So now, how do I explain? There are basically two broad corporate structures that are operating that I have to report to on like a progress, quality, production, KPI basis, etc. And one of them operates on a January to December calendar year, and the other one operates on a July to June calendar year.
Ah,
Meaning that I have two different sets of annual KPIs depending on how you measure the year. This is unspeakably asinine, but I think even a totally uninitiated person hearing that would understand that it's stupid.
yeah,
This is one business. And there are two different departments that measure the year in radically different ways. And neither of them was willing to give ground to the other. I'm very frustrated right now. Plus, I've got to go back into the hiring process, which is like one of my least favorite things to do. Um, like it's probably like the three things that I hate the most are stock management, which is horrible. Um, Management KPI reviews, which are horrible, and hiring people, which is horrible. All of these things are horrible. Um, but unfortunately, I'm a middle manager, so I have to do a lot of all of them. Anyway, This week, starting with Blue Archive, this week was the rerun of the New Year's event for Veritas, which is basically the Mood Kindred event. Like, there are lots of Mood Kindred moments where the members of Veritas are constantly complaining about how unlivable the world is if you don't have an internet connection. Um, but yeah, that's just an event rerun. Nothing much to report about there. The main block of time that I spent on Blue Archive was actually just watching story. So I got caught up with Decagrammaton this week, which was basically like there's basically no gameplay in the section that I watched. It's just VN basically. It's all VN, and it's pretty much all just Aris being adorable. Like this is sort of a pseudo extension of games development department. It's basically Games Development Department Chapter 3 is what Decagrammaton has become. And it's become very Eris-centric. So, yeah, I enjoyed it very much. There were lots of laugh out loud moments. If you have any fondness for the Games Development Department characters, it's definitely worth reading. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not the deepest thing, and it doesn't really go anywhere, and it's like not, and it's sort of like ends in the middle of things because Decagrammaton is a story that is told, slice by slice over a very long period of time, like multiple years, as opposed to the other plot arcs. But yeah, I still enjoyed it very much. But it's dependent on how much you enjoy the characters involved, basically. Don't think there's much else for Blue Archive right now. Lots of people being very obsessed with the new Trinity swimsuit characters. Gameplay wise, sort of hard to say exactly where they'll go. They all have quite a bit of value, particularly Mika seems OP as crap. Saya adds a really tactically critical addition to the library of characters that you can use, since she's basically on-field Kisaki, and Kisaki is a staple. But being able to use her role as an on-field or off-field is going to be very powerful for team comp building. And Nagisa completely upends the meta, like just completely flips the table by having a mechanic that allows you to go into SP debt with your characters. You can spend into overdraft with your skill points, which is going to for the molding class, the ones that are really hell bent on really tight rotations and really tight team comps at the highest level of play. This is basically going to change the entire game for those people. Not going to have nearly as much impact for the rest of us, but it's going to change the way the game is played at a high level. So,
While I have seen some cropping up of the Tea Party girls, the one I've seen pop up the most has been Swimsuit Hasumi for two obvious reasons, but that is not the reason I notice her every time it pops up. It's her facial expression in her memorial lobby whenever it pops up. Where I don't know what kind of face that is, but she is clearly frazzled about something.
or Hasumi. I think Hasumi, in a lot of ways, is a very normal character, I guess, in that she's got a couple of big concerns, but by and large, most of what she does and deals with is relatively normal. Like she's she's not dealing much with the she's like a middle manager basically, because Tsurugi's not really management material, but she is she's sort of an underplayed unsung hero type of character who basically is responsible for managing to keep the unbelievably fractious Trinity General School in order. Everybody always looks to Gehenna as the Chaos School, but Gehenna has just got sort of like a natural seething level of baseline chaos, whereas Trinity's always like a misplaced insult away from civil war, and it's sort of Hasumi's job to keep that from happening in any big way. And she's a very underplayed character for all of that because she's basically become the gag boobs character.
Yeah. Or Justice Task
But
Force.
she's just got very normal concerns. Like she's worried about her weight. She's worried about people staring at her because of
Her
her wings.
weight.
Definitely the size of her wings. It's the size of her wings that is the thing that people are talking about.
She
It,
has historically in her artwork when I was playing initially, her artwork was, aside from like the track event CG, relatively downplayed. It was, she didn't have any crazy expressions, but when I came back, like during the Seiya event with at Millennium, like you go into the track and field room where she has to get off of the treadmill that's been making her run forever, and it's the chibi model, so it's not exaggerated nearly as much as her artwork is. But you just see her get off that thing with a facial expression of "I thought I was gonna die," as she looks like she's about to fall over and collapse. And then now in her new CG art, where she's in her swimsuit, she just looks like she's mortified by whatever scenario has caused this. So she's gotten a lot more fun with her expressiveness than before. So
well,
she
that was
starts
always
standing
the
out
point.
more.
That was the point of her character, though. Like, because she's supposed to be sort of like the tall, dark femme fatale character with the enormous chest, I guess. That's how she's presented. But every time she's presented in detail, it's always it always fails to flatter that image. Like, so you've got the Halo Festival where she has wardrobe difficulties and has to run and is not very good at it. And you've got the Christmas event where she gets into a knockdown, drag out fight with Mine in the street outside a cafe. And now you've got other events coming out where she's basically, you know, a gag character of sorts. Just not really befitting the importance of her role, but it is a game with a very strong comedy bent, in spite of the fact that it tells serious stories quite well. Um, so everybody's got their sort of their light side to some extent. Maybe Misaki doesn't. Sort of hard to tell.
Yeah, that's okay. Hasumi has two that are very prevalent that make all the jokes.
Anyway, so yeah, that the Blue Archive Global is going well. The there are quite a few upcoming characters that are of no consequence, and quite a few that are also extremely powerful. The one that's likely to disturb things the most is probably like Hikari or someone. The Supergaki generally. But yeah, there's not a huge amount to report on there. As far as Genshin goes, so in game, not really much to report. The annoying turret minigame is back. Thankfully, there's not too much of it. You can just punch your ticket and go.
Its brevity made this one very stomachable. I did not mind this one because of how little time it took.
It was only stomachable because of its brevity. If they had made it challenging or long, I would have gotten annoyed very quickly.
Yeah,
Because it's just not that fun.
it's just not what we signed up for either when we play Genshin.
It's a task. It's a task that you have to do. And it doesn't involve any of the things that you like about Genshin. It just involves, the interns mini game that they built in engine. But outside, on the other hand, is like it's Spoiler City right now. They're showing off all of the new characters. Well, the current intake of new characters. I don't know if you've managed to avoid them, Aristiel.
I've avoided absolutely every bit of news since.
Okay, I posted a bunch of them in mobile game and then just deleted them all. It's like because I don't know which of these are spoilers. Like it's sort of hard to tell. I omitted some that I knew for a fact were spoilers for people who haven't done previous Archon things. But then a lot of the other characters, I'm like, well, I know this character exists because I read around the lore, but they aren't part of the main story yet until now. So it's kind of a spoiler that they're involved, even if, like, for me, it's an obvious inference they're definitely involved because this is entirely their bag. But yeah, they revealed a lot of characters in a very short amount of time in a very spoilerific animation for basically for Nod Cry promotion. So yeah, we sort of know the shape of the characters that are coming out. Generally, some of them are depicted with their whatchamacallit, with their vision, so we know what element they are. But a lot of them is not clear. It's not in the picture or whatever.
Yeah. I
So
For reference, I know nothing about what happens in 5.6, 5.7, or 5.8. Ever since the main Archon quest said go back to Mondstadt, I've not looked at anything. I've gone radio silent on it. I know nothing.
right.
So I have not even
I,
gone back to
I've,
Mondstadt yet. I have the quest to go back to Mondstadt in my log still, waiting for Tuesday when the patch drops.
yeah, so some of these things are sort of like spoilers of no consequence, and some of them are spoilers of consequence. So I'm just trying to try and sort mentally what things I can actually talk about. But so the characters that they've announced officially are Ino, who is a new character, I think. Ino is Inefa's creator. So Inefa is the new character who's coming out shortly. She's basically a robot Frankenstein out of parts. Ino's like a prodigious child inventor and sort of street rat individual. Like she doesn't seem to have any family, so she tries to make family for herself, and Inefa is one of those. But she's rumored to be a 4-star, so presumably people she's like the Kachina
Ah,
for Nodcry. Inefa is, of course, the one in the next patch who's coming out, and she's the robot girl made out of parts of robots from all the different nations, whatever their local type of robot is, if they've got one. So there's like some puppet parts from Inazuma, mechanical parts from Fontaine, technological parts from Sumeru, like all sorts of stuff grafted in there. Other characters, they revealed Vaka. Vaka being the Grandmaster of the Knights of Favonius, who's always off screen because he's always traveling somewhere. He's going to appear. Nicole, Hex and Zirkel N. She's the one who's mute. She stopped talking at some point. I don't remember exactly why, but you can read about her in various things that other characters have commented on her. Like Skirk says, for instance, that she's a sculptor. So I'm thinking she's probably the Geo Lady. Good
yeah.
chance that she is anyway.
Adopts cats and robots. Has a green bamboo.
She's not at all like the Nicole that we know from ZZZ.
May or
As
may not
far
be
as I'm
perpetually
aware,
broke and always in search of more money making schemes.
there's a certain, if you look into the background lore, there's a certain implication that she might have once been an angel, and she's just decided to become human at some point in history. Well, I mean, no angels are around anymore. They all degraded into various forms, most of them into Sele. But it's implied in some of the lore that Nicole may be one of these, since her story is very parallel to that. Other characters, so I'll probably end up pulling for her if she's the Geo Lady. Oh, she's also a gorgeous blonde, so RSD will have to pull for her. He won't have any choice.
Oh no.
There's Jehoda, who is sort of not a very popular character design, hasn't done very well, sort of appealing to the lolicon crowd, I guess you could say. Also a blonde. Uh, don't really know much about her. She seems to be another sort of street rat type character. I'll skip that one because there's too much spoiler there. That one's not much of a spoiler. Sandrone is going to appear. Sandrone is number one suspect for being Catherine's creator. She's one of the Fatui, and she specializes in marionettes. Lauma, new character, don't really know anything about her. She postures as sort of like a moon priestess type character. Very design, very reminiscent of Hersha of Rebirth. So she may or may not be a Sele. And by that I mean Sele the character, not Sele the weird floaty ghost things. But yeah, I think even though she looks very hydro, I think there's a shot of her showing that she has a dendro vision, but she's also got sort of like a leafy theme as well. Nefer, who is, I think that there's like a snatch of lore somewhere saying that she's like she's half blooded from Sumeru and half from somewhere else, but she looks like Sumeru the character basically. That she's got all of the design aspects of one of the characters from the desert, except it's all done in the palette of the forest. So if she's not a Dendro character, I'll be very confused because she looks like a Dendro character, and she also looks like a Sumeru character. So I presume that there's a rumor going around that her early closed beta like prototype kit is basically designed to make Nailu bloom like an up-to-date thing.
Make Nailu great again?
Yeah, there's a rumor going around that she's a make Nailu great again character.
That'll work just fine for me. I have pre-farmed Nailu already. I'm making this a thing that happens.
There's Flynn's full name. How do I pronounce this? Kirill Chudomirovich Flynn's, who is like he's the brooding Bishonen character for this.
You lost me at Icky Boy.
Expansion. Yeah, he's Nicky Boy. The fangirls are going wild over him at the moment. And then there's the two headliners that everyone's been waiting for, Alice and Columbina. So Alice being Clee's mother, and sort of a general playful gadfly, another gorgeous blonde, obviously Pyro, general troublemaker.
Can get behind this.
You'll get to spend more time with spend more time with Alice as you go through the patches because she sticks her oar into everything. It's worth reading the stuff that she wrote. Like I think she's the genius behind the Tevat tour guide books that you find around the place, talking about the things she did in various nations. And she's also the one that tried to start the Tevat Idol unit by trying to draft Barbara and Ayaka and a few others into an idol unit with no success. And she's the reason Barbara became so obsessed with idols to begin with, because she gave an idol magazine from Offworld to Barbara.
Let's see.
Columbina is the one of the most... Oh, go on.
I said I can get behind this.
Columbina is a member of the Fatui. She's one of the most feared, though everybody who's afraid, even among the Fatui, or even they don't consider her to be safe to deal with. But they're always vague on exactly why. But she's one of the most characters people have most been waiting for. She looks very Hydro related, very Moon related. The rumor floating around, it has been a rumor floating around for a while, but it's been confirmed by the way she's been portrayed in the promo material, is that she making her into a new moon goddess is part of the Tsaritsa's plan, trying to forcibly ascend her up the celestial hierarchy, because they make it clear, like early in the story in Mod Stat, that Immortal can ascend the celestial hierarchy. It's not set in stone. There's upward mobility, which is why humans can become Archons and so on. But apparently that goes up further than that. So what Columbina's background is, nobody really knows. But yeah, reactions that have been confirmed are Inefa's Lunar Electro, which is electro charged. Well, can't remember whether they call it Lunar Electro or Lunar Charged. I think it's Lunar Charged. Which is a differently scaling version of the electro charged ability, and they've also, it's not confirmed, but there have been sightings of Lunar Bloom, which is why people think that Nefer is going to basically synergize Nailu and make the Nailu Bloom team a Nailu Lunar Bloom team, which is going to be meta. But that's like speculation based on very, very early leaks. So yeah, Nailu might find her way back into the meta again. It could happen. But yeah, those are the characters that have been previewed. I'm a bit bewildered about the decision to do so. I guess that they are just going to rely on the lunar charge to carry Inefa's sales forward, because having previewed, like Vaka, who's like the most waited for male character, and two of the Hexen Zirkel, and two of the Fatui, other characters I haven't mentioned yet. Like having all of those previewed immediately before launching a character nobody was waiting for seems like a little bit of a reckless marketing move. But yeah, well, I guess it's a bold plan, Cotton. We'll see how it works out for them. Yeah, in game, not really much is happening, but next week, I think next week sounds right. The new patch will be dropping with all of the summer stuff. It seems like quite a chungus patch. So whether it presents itself as being as chungus as the ZZZ patch, well, remains to be seen. Speaking of ZZZ, one of the things which did go around social media this past week were some photographs of a public con appearance of members of the team making ZZZ. And they look like corpses.
Oh
They
dear.
look like corpses which are dragged up on stage. They're barely functional human beings at this point. They need to give those people a holiday. Really badly.
Yeah, we can handle a beat patch, it's fine.
Like they just have dark circles under their eyes, and like it's... why you would put those people on stage, don't know. But yeah, now just seeing those photographs, you can tell where all the ZZZ content has come from. They are paying for it with blood magic. So yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but man, did they cram a lot into the latest ZZZ patch.
Anyway, so I finished. I finished. I finished. I think I finished. I finished the summer event for ZZZ, and accordingly, the two character stories. And overall, it was a very enjoyable experience. I liked it. It's a solid summer event, solid mini games. I'm glad that they weren't harder than they were, because I saw potential for me to become extremely enraged at the surfing mini game. But instead, it was quite easy, which I will take as a relief for me, because I'm terrible at racing games. I just have no I have no synergy with them whatsoever. They just do not work for me. It's not that I don't enjoy them, because I often really do, but I just can't play them to save myself. I'm like a 8th place in every round of Mario Kart person. Well, I say 8th place because in Mario Kart 64 there were 8 players. I don't know how, there's probably like 50 now. I don't know how it works in Mario Kart.
The biggest selling point was there's 24 now, and it is nothing but problems.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyway, but that was all right. I haven't done any of the end game. I did build my Yuzuha, and she came out quite well. Quite solid discs, quite functional. Uh, to my dismay, it looks like the next set of discs for the next patch might actually supplant the one she's currently got, though, depending on how the math works out and whether they get released in the form that they are in CBT. Which is going to frustrate me because I finally got some good discs and now I'll just have to refarm them and they'll be worse. But, okay, whatever. Maybe raw stats will overcome the set bonuses anyway.
I mean,
if my
it
stats are
may
good
be
enough.
optimal, but she's already pretty strong as is with just a workable set.
Yeah, well, my set is not merely workable. I rolled quite well, I think.
Yeah, you had like several god tier rolls on that thing or something, or whatever the tier higher than that is.
No, tier below, I think it was. Yeah, I've got 00ASSSSS, which is like the single best set that I've got. Now, she's dropped a little bit in the rankings, I think, since I posted that screenshot because more math has come out, but she's still performing extremely solidly. And since she's mostly off field, I don't have to work too hard to make her to operate the way I want. So there was I had one half-hearted try at Pompey in Deadly Assault, and for that half-hearted try, I like what was my let me do some mental math because Pompey is one of the hardest ones for me. I think I beat my previous score by about 12,000. My previous best.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, probably more than that. Probably more like 13,000 or 14,000. So yeah, having and the only thing I did was swap out Lucy for Yuzuha, and the impact was sizable.
Wait till you
Anyway,
get a proper anomaly driver.
anyway, bringing Alice will be out next, and I always intended to pull for Alice. Yuzuha was the one that was in doubt, but I don't regret it now that she performs really well. But yeah, so I'm currently trying to farm for Yuzuha. I presume she's just going to use basically the same gear as Piper because her kit doesn't seem to have anything weird in it. It looks more or less like a Piper kit, I think.
I would imagine it wants to build similar to, well, Jane wants more raw attack and wacky stats, but the set bonuses are probably
Well,
similar.
Jane can use crit.
Jane,
Jane,
Jane's crit
if she can
scales
use
off her
crit, then
anomaly though. It doesn't scale off her
it
her base crit rate.
doesn't scale off. Doesn't scale off either of her crit stats.
I don't believe so now. I think it's
Weird.
entirely based on her anomaly stats. Or if it does, it's so minor it doesn't matter.
Anyway, oh right, you fixed your Jane, didn't you?
Yeah, and a big part of that was shelling excess crit.
I still see an E.
Yeah, we're working on it. We got the easy pieces.
Anyway, I'm presuming that there's going to be a relatively similar kit. I don't have any physical discs. Well, I've got a couple that are on Piper, but I'm working on trying to gather some of those as well as clean up Caesar a little bit because Caesar has a lot of unpleasant letter ratings on her as well. So I'm sort of splitting my efforts there. But yeah, I intend to pull Alice and then use her as my on-field character because she's got my favorite thing in an on-field character, which is a direct counter. I just don't like dodging very much. Which is why I like playing Caesar. I don't know how they will ever, I don't know if they'll ever build a team around Caesar because it doesn't. There's lots of like Caesar works with basically everybody, but she doesn't work well with anybody. Like she's just a very solid defensive support, in every regard, and very easy to play. So I like playing Caesar a lot, but unfortunately, there's not really a team she works in with excessive synergy. She's not going to make or break anything. Gives good bonuses though. But yeah, so yeah, I'll be pulling Alice. The next two characters coming out though, it's like, well, I don't know how important it is to pull these. I'm sort of thinking about it. Like I was thinking of pulling Evelyn when Evelyn comes out, as a fire attack option for Fufu because I love playing Fufu, and Fufu seems to give a lot of very good bonuses to people who want to swap in and spend a lot of time on field. And that basically is Evelyn to a T. But yeah, I'm sort of interested to see where Orphe will come down, because there's not. I haven't looked at any details for what's in the kits for characters for ZZZ. I just don't generally follow it that closely, but Orphe is, for starters, adorable. But secondarily, it seems like they're going on in a slightly different direction with some of the upcoming Mobile Squad characters. But yeah, I'm interested to see how well her playstyle synergizes with Fufu, because she could be an alternate option to Evelyn if they work together well, depending. She's very cute. Her animations are a little bit silly because of Margus leading her around by the tail, in a literal sense. But yeah, they also previewed. They did a formal preview for Seed, and I was sort of a bit surprised at the level of outrage in the community over the fact that Seed was a cute anime girl.
I thought it
So
was
I'm sorry, what game do you think you're playing?
I thought it was the feet people thing. I thought for once the internet had come to its senses.
You're joking, right?
I can live in my delusional world of hope. You can't stop me.
Anyway, so the only thing that is feet centric is what I think is her alt animation.
There was a lot of feet in that trailer.
Well, when she's directly controlling the robot, she does so using both her hands and her feet. So they really need you to know this.
Like at least 3 times in the trailer.
So basically, her normal on field has, it's sort of like implied that Seed is nearby, but she's basically just riding around on a hover scooter most of the time, and the and Seed is sort of like in optical stealth, and weapons will sort of manifest spontaneously around Seed, and she'll fire Seed as opposed to Seed Senior. This is the distinction that is drawn emphatically in the current patch. But so Seed will basically manifest Seed Senior's weapons around her and fire them, except for various abilities where Seed Senior appears on field in a much more direct fashion to unleash particular attacks of various sorts. And then the ultimate is sort of like a assuming direct control first person shooter rocket and beam spam mode, which looks quite fun. Like full mecha style. But yeah, the actual mechanics of how all that fits together is really unclear at present. So it remains to be seen. Oh, and the both of them are attackers, with Orphe being fire attack and Seed being lightning attack. Meaning that the Seed is being pitted directly against Anby, and Silver Anby, in terms of value as a character to pull. So they're going to have to make them quite distinct. I suppose Anby's advantage is that she's a very workmanlike character who just does the job with very simple play, very easy to grasp, very easy to use. Whereas it looks like Seed might be a little bit more obtuse, has a bit of off-field capability. It looks like there's some sort of like weird follow-up attack structure as well. It's hard to say exactly how that's all going to fit together. Orphe, on the other hand, looks relatively orthodox as a character, other than the fact that she keeps falling over while she's fighting because Margus has decided that it's her turn now. So yeah, I'm interested to see what those kits will look like, but I think that both of these characters are going to be characters where probably you're going to want to spend some time playing them in the practice mode to see how they really fit together before you actually pull, because they're very similar to other extant characters in terms of the role that they play, with Orphe being quite similar to Evelyn and Seed being quite similar to Anby in terms of their core role. So yeah, if they play really well and they fit well with the types of characters that you like to play, then that might be the way to go. Seed definitely doesn't really look like an Ari character in terms of it's a little girl that pilots a hulking giant robot, not really a dodgy sort of character. But yeah, it's sort of hard to say what it's all going to come down as. That is to say, if provided that the patch doesn't get delayed by like deaths in the team or something. So yeah, I'm a little bit on edge about the way things are going over there in that office. But yeah, looking forward to see where it goes from there. But man, if you guys need to take, a few weeks of holiday, maybe you should just do that. Seriously, you don't look well.
That battle tower is going to take us a while. You can delay by a week or two, and we'll be fine with it.
Yeah, just take some R&R, maybe go to the doctor, get a checkup, get your blood work done, make sure you're not deficient in any important nutrients. I don't know. But you all look like you're about to keel over. So, yeah. That's that. Star Rail is, again, not doing anything much, except me mauling about Hule being present again, because that dog won't leave me alone. He's always there, always in my way, always frustrating in pure fiction. So I don't know what I'm going to do about pure fiction. Pure fiction is, I'm a little bit weaker on pure fiction than I am on most game modes right now. My current team makeup, or rather, I'm extremely strong if I can just deploy Herta on one side and Custerus on the other side, and in any combination where that doesn't work, suddenly I'm up a creek without a paddle. I didn't lean very hard into developing Rapper, so I don't have and Rapper's really starting to struggle because when there's no break involved whatsoever in the bonuses like there is this round, because I have a E0 S0 Rapper, she's just not quite deeply invested enough to compete when strictly off type. Speaking of though, I'm already heavily invested in Break as one of my main teams, and it's definitely not Ascendant right now. So in order to, and because I like all the ladies of Break, they are some of my favorite characters, I want to keep using them. So the only way for me to keep using them is to make my team more premium. So I did. I fired a bunch of my resources, nearly cleaned myself out at improving Firefly. So my Firefly now has her signature and a couple of Eidolons to boot. So she's now in her standard premium form, which is E2 S1, which basically diffuses the vast majority of her SP problems and gives her much more consistent uptime in her burst phase. So, yeah, she's basically going to be able to prolong Break for me. And if there are dribs and drabs of other banners that come up for the other members of Premium Break, then I might dabble in an Eidolon here or an Eidolon there to flesh them out a little bit to keep that team relevant, because it really seems like in Star Rail it's becoming more important to go deep than broad because there's no Imaginarium theatre. And there's not heaps and heaps of roles, and there's lots of overlapping roles. So in ZZZ, you're strongly encouraged to go very broad and learn to play lots of different characters. And in Genshin, you're encouraged to go very broad simply because they won't let you play otherwise, which I think is a massive design flaw. It doesn't need to be there. But in Star Rail, it looks like going deep is just better at this point. You need to pick a team that you like and go deep, because otherwise you're just going to be eternally having to pull the next character that comes out. So I'm deciding, because I've already invested so much in Break, and Break is the team that will fall off the hardest when it's out of the meta. I'm buffing that one up to keep it usable on an ongoing basis, based on the sort of the shaky rationale that because Firefly is a Stellaron hunter, they won't ever let her fall off entirely. She will get prolonged in as much as the other Stellaron hunters have been. So if Break gets no attention for 6 months, then in 6 months I'm expecting that they'll give her an update. so that she isn't like way behind all the other Stellaron hunters who have now been designed in a way to make them more future-proofed. Because Firefly was the prototypical Super Break character. She was designed to work well with Harmony Trailblazer and designed to inaugurate Break as a major archetype in the meta. So I think that she's quite likely to get rescued if she falls behind too far. She's also like a massive fan favorite in China and Japan. The West makes a business out of dunking on her for some reason. And when I say the West, I mean that part of the community that think of themselves as the community with a capital C. You know the ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they hate Firefly. But broadly, Firefly is extremely popular, which is why she got the school uniform as a costume, because they know that people will get it. So yeah, I've given her a good tune-up, and she's performing extremely well now, even in spite of the fact that there's nothing around to enable her right now. Break is very much on the back foot, but this, or basically the first two Eidolons plus her signature, gives her a really solid stat base to work with and smooths out a lot of the things that are challenges in running her teams. The biggest challenge with running her team in under normal circumstances is she drinks skill points like nothing else when she's in burst mode, because she's faster than Hyacine when she's bursting, because her speed gets amped to a ridiculous degree, which means you're just constantly drinking skill points and you've got no way of getting them back. And that's ameliorated significantly by Eidolon. So, and of course, it being a break team, there's no room to jam Sparkle in there to alleviate it either. There's no other skill point restorers other than Sparkle and Hanya, and you can't fit Hanya or Sparkle in a break team. So, yeah, that with that issue shored up, it's basically performing really well. Unfortunately, she's performing really well in an environment which is absolutely not built for break. But since she's my stock solution to bosses that I don't have a plan for because I fall out of type and out of meta, like currently, I'll probably attempt to use Firefly on Hule side Pure Fiction. Considering Firefly's a blast character, that's a really bad pick for Pure Fiction, but hopefully she'll just have the efficiency to carry over, because she gets a lot of freaking attacks when she can kill targets and break targets. So I'll give it a go and see how it works. But this round is very much designed for Hazelins, who I'm definitely pulling, because she's like Link's long lost sister. And that will allow me to build up Dot, which is my other sort of old favorite that I ran for the longest time when I started up. Like, I started up my account with the intention of playing Dot, and then Hoyo forgot that Dot existed, and that whole plan fell apart. But Hisselins is here to save the archetype, so I'll be pulling for her. I'll probably be wanting to pull for Silverwolf as well, since, like, if you're going to put a Annihilaty supporter in your team, it's going to be Cypher or Silverwolf, and Cypher's slightly better than Silverwolf in, like, 75% of use cases. But I just like Silverwolf better, so I'll pull for Silverwolf instead. But all of this pulling is basically going to mean that the next patch is going to be like Unleash the Leviathan season as far as gacha spending is concerned, because there is not enough resources in all the world.
I'm gonna have to upgrade to Beluga Whale tier.
I don't know, how big is a beluga? It's not that big, is it? It's about the size of a dolphin.
Oh, is the Beluga small? I thought they were bigger. Upgrade to Blue Whale tier.
That's the biggest whale there is.
Yeah, but it's not a Leviathan yet. You're not buying every single character that comes out.
No, not like you and ZZZ.
Hey, I've let Yanagi and the Icky Boys
and Hugo
and at least a few more. Although they're not coming to mind very quickly. Oh, let Caesar go. Not very many though. Though ZZZ gives me so much premium currency, scooping a character is like amounts to not very much.
Yeah, I think that they should just do a weekly rotation in Star Rail. Like, everybody in Star Rail complains that there's too much character diversity and too few too few premium currency available. I don't see any reason they can't just rotate weekly, because if I wasn't like purposefully dragging my feet, there would be nothing to do in Star Rail for me at all by now. But I am sort of dragging my feet because I'm playing 3 Gachas, so I have other things to do. But those other things to do are outside of Star Rail. They don't involve playing Star Rail at all. And it doesn't have many modes which you can just play for the sake of playing.
Heck, in
And I think
ZZZ
that this is a
Simulator
major
Universe,
problem.
yeah, in ZZZ Simulator Universe, they just let you play certain characters every week. Want to try them out?
I've tried them out, yeah, but that sort of frustrates me. Like, I tried out Evelyn, and it's like, yes, but this is not how I would build Evelyn. Like, I would do this and this and this instead, and make it synergize like this, and I can't because it's fixed. It's nice to have the chance to play around with it. It certainly is. But yeah. At any rate, so yeah, so almost certainly pulling for Hisselins, most probably pulling for Silverwolf. Sirajah has gone backwards and forwards for me because I like her design and I like her character and the lore, but her status on closed beta has fluctuated immensely. In version 3 and version 4, she was absolute dog water. People were actually confused as to how she could possibly be a premium character that was so bad, because her effectiveness as a supporter was on the level of a 4-star Harmony at E6, not on the level of a 5-star Harmony. It was not even close. So people couldn't work out what exactly was going to move people to pull her, because she was only good with 2 characters in the game, and that's Phynon and Anaxa. So I have Anaxa, but I usually use Anaxa as a supporter for Herta. I don't the Herta. I don't use Anaxa independently unless the stage is like aggressively promoting that particular approach, which occasionally they do. But yes, Sirajah's kit was so bad in V4 that they had to give her significant buffs and alterations in V5. So she's in V5 now, and she's actually a very solid Harmony, premium Harmony now, but she's still really only that really solid for Phynon and Anaxa. That's not necessarily a terrible thing, because her being premium Harmony for them is simply because they are the only characters present who are both hyper carry and 100% dependent on their skill to do damage. So it makes sense, and it's not a niche that is like constructed to be narrow. It's easy to make a character who primarily does damage through their skill. It's only an incidental fact that she doesn't work with the Herta, because the Herta also does her damage through her skill. The problem is that damage is based on a multiplier that you build up ahead of time. So using lots more of your skill in quick succession is not helpful. But yeah, Sirajah was so weak in version 4 that the change that they made in version 5 of closed beta was they actually just added her previous E6 to her base kit. And if you've looked at what E6s are normally like, you're getting sort of an idea of just how far behind Sirajah was as a character. Base E6 is where they've moved to power level 2.
That's not good. She was that far behind. Really, really makes me wonder how they've gotten to this point in design. They had to take
Well,
that.
the rumors from the office are that they were trying to do a different design originally, and basically trying to do Tribby again, like make a character who has some clear strengths and leanings, but is also like super universal, and you can pull her to buff your account no matter what you use as your main damage dealer. And they just trotted out failed design after failed design, and got so frustrated that eventually they fell back on just doing a Phynon supporter, basically. But of course, her kit was not really suitable for anything by this point, so they've just been sort of flinging stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Hopefully things will be in a better state, but we'll see how things are by release. They might need another couple rounds of closed beta at this rate because they've made so many changes. Hisselin's, on the other hand, hasn't changed very much since V3. She didn't change at all in V4, and I think V5 just had like a couple of minor tweaks to her eidolons or something. Not something that concerns normal people. But yeah, apparently Siraja is now significantly more powerful than she was. She is now usable for non-Finon teams and isn't like previously. She was as effective in Finon hypercarry as Bronya. Like you could literally just put Bronya in instead, and the performance would be comparable, which means that she would not sell at all. So it was going to be bad for them commercially as well. But apparently, though, in the process of the V5 updates, they've basically ended up making her signature light cone totally incompatible with other characters. So yeah, that tends to reduce its pull value a little bit. There are a lot of signature light cones like that, and it's become sort of the norm in Genshin as well. Cough, cough, verdict, cough. What am I going to do with that thing?
Somebody's going to need a crit rate damage stick eventually.
But anyway, yeah, I have a lot of qualms with Star Rail design, but I still think that they can pull it out. They've just got to commit to stop being afraid of what could go wrong, and basically, I think that they just need to do a longer beta cycle. They need to do something more ambitious and keep it in beta until it's cooked, as opposed to trying to avoid releasing something undercooked by being not ambitious enough. Because it is very much just a lack of ambition at this point. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that game as well. I don't think I have anything else. I did not have time for anything else this week. That basically ate all my time. The upcoming week is likely to be pretty rough as well. I've got a lot of things on my plate, and I hate interviewing people, but I'm going to have to book some interviews.
There's a Fern. He showed up and I didn't notice.
And then he disappeared. He disappeared afterwards, so we still don't have him here to talk about his week because he has to deal with something, he says. So,
Nebulous something.
Time.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can hear us. Well, but yeah. So, we have an email.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to have to move it to my other monitor because it's too far away from me on that one for me to read it. And if I blow it up, it doesn't have enough. Here we go. Right. This week's email comes from our good buddy Serathus, as usual. He has called it Zenless World of Warframe. Dear No Excuses, forgive me, for I have sinned. Despite juggling the Hoyo trifecta, I felt bored, so I have resubbed to WoW. All in all, it's fine. The current tier is ending. Goblins are over. The game offers exactly what it has been offering for a while. Catch up for latecomers, a whole lot of activities for pets and mounts and whatnot, an item you can upgrade throughout the tier, a belt, a raid, delves, instances. I have been having a good time catching up with everything, but I still wouldn't recommend anyone to buy the expansion. The next content patch drops on the 6th, and we are going off-world. Again. It looks interesting, certainly a good change of scenery after being underground for so long. I have also checked back to Warframe, and got a Soulframe beta invite which I won't use because no time, and the story is even more undecipherable than usual. The newest attraction is Warframe 1999, which pretty much seems like an excuse to add, quote, realistic, unquote, guns. Still, if you like mowing down hordes of enemies and bloom, bloom, and more bloom, then you can't go wrong with Warframe. You just need someone to guide you through the onboarding process because the new player experience is probably even more disorienting than Eve. And finally, Hoyo, Saber, Get. Tried for a weapon, no dice. Also got the Misugaki. The Misugaki is powerful, like really. Astra might have met her match, because not only does the Misugaki add a whole lot of attack and anomaly build up, but also a flat 15% damage boost. Too bad I'm not especially fond of the Misugaki archetype. Next up, Alice, because I'm still missing a physical option that doesn't kill herself when trying to use skill. Seraphis.
Yeah, yeah, Yuzuha do make things hit hard.
But the thing is that she's not more powerful than Astra, which was really encouraging.
Yeah,
She's definitely very powerful, but they didn't power creep Astra as like your off-field support,
yeah,
which means that they have some sort of loose idea of where they want the power level of the game to be and aren't like racing to move past it.
yeah. They've done a very good job with the last several characters, introducing new stuff and keeping it in check without letting power creep just totally eat the world. Uh, Yuzuha, even your big headliners of Your Girlfriend and Fufu, like Fufu is strong, but she needs to be in the Evelyn team to do it and to really flex her muscles. And Your Girlfriend is strong, but she doesn't. She's not as universally applicable as say Miyabi.
I feel
Great.
like Yushin is a good solution to situations where you know you're going to, number one, you know you're going to have to pile a lot of damage into really short windows, and number two, when you know that there's going to be issues with getting stuns to stick, and so you're going to have to do a lot of field time without having a stun. Like, she seems to be kind of niche in that way. Like, you can just bull through a lot of content with her if you want to, and I enjoy the sort of the structure of the way she feels to handle on field. But she's not like a decisive spike the opponent dead character most of the time, although she can do that. Like, you can play her around stacking your ults. Like the standard thing that most people who take the game seriously, aka not me, try to do with her is to arrange the triple ult during a single stun window.
Yeah,
And I don't really care to learn that, but that's something you can do with her. But the real advantage she has is that she, much like an anomaly character, will just do like DPS as long as she's on the field. It won't be meaningless damage the way it is with a lot of attackers. You can just fight. And she doesn't need a defender to keep her alive. She doesn't need a stunner to stun to do any damage whatsoever. She's relatively self-contained. And that sort of logic is sort of the same reason that I play Caesar a lot, because it doesn't depend on you having a like an ultra tight rotation to be able to execute well. If you have a character who's just on field for a while, it will still work. And she's got her own sort of like resources that are fun to manage and so on. And but she doesn't raise the power ceiling. She sort of spreads her power throughout her kit in a very even way. There's like not really any way you can just do her wrong and she's not performing. She's in the wrong team, therefore she does nothing type of thing just doesn't happen with her. She's just powerful in general, but not like, okay, when you set up her optimal team, suddenly she one-shots everything the way Miyabi does.
yeah. And in our most direct character replacement comparison we're getting with modern characters with Alice and Jane, Alice doesn't usurp Jane's role. They have different applications despite both being a physical anomaly where they both excel in without being excluded from what the other does better, which is really hard to latch onto and
I
in
mean,
terms of balancing.
when you look at their actually kit, when you look at their actual kit, it's like, oh, this is so simple. Like the distinction is so simple. It's but it all comes down to game feel. Like they do the same job, but the feel of the way they do it is totally different, and it largely stems from the fact that Jane is an extremely high speed dodging based character, whereas Alice is very much a face them directly, parry them character. Like, you don't really need to dodge if you're playing Alice; you can just parry, which is much more fitting to the playstyle I've developed in ZZZ from playing Caesar so much.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Alice is gonna eat the Dodgerette's job. She might handle enemies that are smaller that don't group as easy better. But her and we don't know what her single target damage is going to be like compared to Jane's until the numbers come out. And honestly, as long as Jane can perform, I don't really care. But
Well, it's a simple distinction that Jane does gargantuan anomaly hits, whereas Alice has multiple ways to get anomaly hits because she can force anomaly out even if the bar isn't filled up yet, and
yeah,
it's different to the way Yanagi does it. It's just basically it credits you with the anomaly regardless of whether or not you've earned it if you can ult on them or whatever.
yeah. So we'll see where that continues to move on. I hope they keep their power balance in check. Warframe, don't know jack about that game.
I
So
don't like it. It's too hard to get into. I tried twice.
yeah,
I tried, but that's just so inscrutable. Like they just present you with a billion different things to do, and it turns out that like 99% of them are not relevant at all anymore.
yeah. It's a mess, that one. I haven't made a serious attempt since the one time I tried. Um and what else? Wow. Why would you do this to yourself? Also,
You're like disabled, black, strong, empowered women, paladins, who
maybe.
get credited with doing everything, being
Yeah.
the hero, when the only thing that they do is basically chimp out constantly.
Yeah. Burn is back, by
Like
the way.
honestly, the story just seems totally atrocious. Yeah,
It
well, he
do,
hasn't said anything yet. He could jump in at
No,
any time. We're just reading in the
I
letter here.
I don't have a whole lot to add to ZZZ, unfortunately. So
But yeah, I think the current story in World of Warcraft looks like completely incoherent trash, and even the shills are starting to agree with that.
and
It's
this is
like,
only
yeah, I
chapter
don't
one of
actually.
three.
Well, the theory was that War Within would resolve the dangling Azeroth plot lines, but they basically have done nothing to accomplish that. So
They
yeah,
blew up
I think
Dalaran,
that
so at least there's the silver lining to it.
I don't think they know what they're doing. Um, and Serethus linked a video, a Belial video, the other day about the current new player experience for World of Warcraft and what a trash fire it is. And when you've lost Shieldleader, you've lost your last great hero. Like
Yeah,
it's basically unworkable because there are such big gaps in the gear curve that you you will go through periods of time where you can't kill normal mobs without pulling on your character's entire kit,
that's just not fun.
and you'll get like one gear upgrade every like few hours, and that gear upgrade will increase your stats by like an order of magnitude or multiple orders of magnitude. Like you'll go from like plus 150 to plus like 15,000 or whatever.
Yeah, but isn't it like on an established account, you roll up a new character and they're like 10 levels off top level at in about half an hour?
Well, the thing is that
You rip through
a,
it real
a,
quick.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about a new character, a new player experience here. They
Yeah,
don't
completely
have
brand new character. You're screwed.
if you functionally can't progress the game unless you're encrusted in heirlooms now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't attended to it at all. People are going to just bounce off the game if you can even win them over in this day and age to begin with.
Yeah. Unless you're fully invested at this point, I don't think there's any hooks to get new people into WoW at all.
It's not an insoluble problem. It's just they don't seem to be interested in solving it, and I think it's because that they are, in a word, incompetent.
Yes.
Like, I think that there is just a deep competency crisis at World of Warcraft. They don't have anybody who can write. They don't have anybody who can code. They don't have anybody who can draw. They don't have anybody who can design. Like the whole kit and caboodle is just a disaster at this point. They're all just running on the fumes of previous people.
Yeah. No, if I was feeling the itch to play an MMO, I don't know, I'd probably go play Guild Wars 2 or something. Although the starting experience for Guild Wars 2 has not aged all that well either.
I haven't had the itch to play an MMO in some time, largely because thinking about playing an MMO just makes me cry about Final Fantasy 14 being shite.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll come back to that one later. Because they did have their live letter.
It
Yeah, at any rate, we've just been killing time while we wait for Fern to come in and have his week.
yeah, I already
Which
did.
hasn't been a whole lot, admittedly.
I already did my week to avoid spoiling you on Donkey Kong.
Fair enough.
In case you
Yeah,
want to play it.
I do want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza at some point because it does look like an excellent game. It's just
Yeah.
it's on the Switch too.
If by some miracle you can avoid spoilers, do it.
Yeah, this being the internet, it's very tricky. All it takes is YouTube to
Oh, it's gonna
have
be.
its algorithm have a
It's-
squirt one day, and suddenly that's it. That's all you're getting.
It's going to be an absolute miracle if you can pull it off.
Yeah, I just don't look at anything with Donkey Kong on it. That's part of it.
Oh, the problem.
You
won't
said
be
the
that.
word Donkey Kong on a Google service. Now it's just going to get served up to you on a platter.
Well, crap. So yeah, well that idea's boned then. So yeah, there needs to be more games on the Switch too before I consider buying it though.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about your week, so I can go get another beer.
All right. Most of my week this week has been just doing odd jobs in various small games. I finished off Revenge of the Savage Planet, which I was very, very happy to finish because it was a fun game and, you know, incredibly juvenile sense of humor. The ending song is all about taking a poop when getting paid for it. So I mean, there's that. But I went to go and do the platinum achievements and finish off the last of those, and most of them are the fairly standard stuff, like scan all the things, collect all the creatures, collect all the upgrades, collect all the other things. Except there's 4 or 5 achievements there which are locked behind the collector's edition upgrade.
What?
So you cannot platinum the game unless you have the collector's edition.
What?
Uh-huh. It's all to do with an influencer, and it basically sends you out doing quests to earn his incredibly obnoxious rewards. Frankly, the influencer character in question has an ad on that plays on the TV, and he is the single most brain dead troglodyte you could imagine.
I don't know. I have
Except,
worked with the opossum.
Oh yeah, well, true. Except he's all dripped out in gold, so yeah. That's the future of influencers, I guess. It looks remarkably like the modern influencer.
An unironic LEG.
Honestly, yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah. So yeah, so I want to platinum that game. I can't, and I'm feeling offended that I have to buy extra just to platinum it. So I'm not going to. So yeah. If anyone asks, I platinumed it. But that aside from that stupid aside, I still recommend the game. It's a lot of dumb fun. Just, you know, drag up your sense of humor from primary school before you jump into it.
So, fart and poop jokes.
Lots of fart and poop jokes. I'm also just catching up. Started the story again in Genshin, and now I've got Chaska being sassy. So okay, that's fine.
Speaking of, did you finish unlocking Daddy?
The Daddy quest. I did finish unlocking Daddy, and that storyline was very satisfying, honestly.
Yeah,
Did you watch the anime?
I did not watch the anime yet.
Yeah,
You should watch the anime part.
All right, I'll have to go back and watch the anime. I haven't done that yet. But what's actually presented in the game does present a very human side of Archelano, which you don't see for the most part. And because she honestly keeps it buried. So yeah, that's satisfying. I don't think we've seen the last of the Fontaine for Tui yet, but they'll be making an appearance. Apparently, Wanderer's making a reappearance in the new zone, so you never know. We'll probably get all of
Be
the half.
be careful. There are spoilers attached to that for stuff Ari hasn't seen.
Yeah, I only watched the video
Yeah, I haven't.
that they.
Yeah, I know, but it's
released.
loaded with stuff that will like it might not spoil you because you don't know the surrounding information, but it will spoil Ari.
Fair enough. It's like, hey, this is a cool looking character. This is another cool looking character. Oh, okay, hang on, we know that guy. He's boring.
Yeah, when I go into no spoiler mode for Genshin, I have to shut everything off because all Hoyo games just do not care.
Fair enough. Yeah, Hoyo honestly is pretty bad at that. So anyway, beyond that, I've been hammering away at the Battle Pass to get as much primos as I can to spin on this banner one more time. I've spun a couple more times during the week. Still nothing. The game has actually driven me back into soft pity again. So at this point, my plan is to fight Daddy, max out the Battle Pass, pick up the weapon, and then do the 10 pull that comes with it. At least I think I've got enough there for a 10 pull.
Unable to join
So-
for Nurian's World.
I am in cutscene.
Yeah, I've been spamming that button for the last several minutes.
Yeah. Because everyone's kind of saying how crap my weaker is now.
On the plus side, I made significant progress on moving the Fontaine percentages up while we were talking about stuff.
I haven't done anything in Fontaine yet. I keep meaning to get around to it.
Most of my Fontaine
is,
progress has been done on the show whenever we're in my world.
I'm gonna need
yeah.
those primos. There's just a lot of characters to pull for in the next area.
Yeah. As part of my grinding, though, I've also been grinding up other bits and pieces for the characters. I'm doing Barbara at the moment, and Barbara needs Oceanid. Oceanid's not very fun.
We can make that fast.
Yeah, we can. We can just blast through it. But
So long as you remember to bring somebody who can hit birds.
yeah. But on the plus side, it means I have found various random treasure chests tucked away in the hidden corners of Mondstadt again. So there's that. But yeah, honestly, that's it for my week. I have not done a whole lot. Just lots of little fiddly bits, like still chipping away at RimWorld. RimWorld's always kind of one of my in the background games. So yeah, I might start a new game on that because my current civilization's kind of gotten a little bit stale at this point. So yeah.
Obviously, that means you should have picked Randy Random.
Yeah, to a point. But it also means I should accidentally leave, brain-eating parasites laying around just to make things interesting.
Most of what I know about RimWorld comes from Seth.
Seth, I think, if anything, undersells the current version. And RimWorld is also one of those games you don't play without mods anymore. There's so much extra stuff that is just in there. Like, I don't even know what the ideology tree looks like without mods anymore. Because it's just, there's not a whole lot to it.
I suppose I also did watch quite a bit of Fauna playing it. Oh, did you hear? Anemi has announced she's getting married.
Oh, nice.
That must be why she left Hololive.
It's probably part of it, yeah. I'm still in cutscenes, but I got an invitation. So I'm not sure if it's going to let you guys in, but we'll see. Yeah, we're just waiting for Kachina to stop being dead. Why are you being dead, Kachina? Stop it. Oh, now that's just going to ruin cutscenes. Everyone's standing around looking sad, and there's a bouncy cow in the background. But why you do this? Why you do this, Arasil?
Because it's
You're
funny.
ruining his story experience.
Or improving it, maybe.
Yeah, I have no idea where the camera's
dude.
at, but I'm trying to get Verisa falling on her butt in the middle of your shot.
You've been doing an excellent job of that. So yeah, anyway, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about for my week. I need to honestly sit down and just nerd out for a few days, but I haven't had a whole lot of time because this is event season, so there's drunk cowboys everywhere. Ugh.
Always.
What happened to
Unfortunately,
that being over with?
It's not over with. We've only had round 1. Round 2 comes up this coming weekend. Round 2 is the biggest one.
It's always the biggest one.
They're all the biggest one, unfortunately. But this is the biggest of the biggest. So yeah. I'll be glad when it's over. That's for sure.
What happened to your new hire?
She's helping quite a lot. But because we went so long without an additional hire, we've got to play catch up now. All this other stuff that's kind of fallen by the wayside needs to be done.
I see.
Yes.
All right. So, Fern, since you're passingly interested in adding Donkey Kong to the potential list of games to get a Switch 2 for, I'll give you the unspoiler version of my recommendation section real quick.
Please do.
If you liked Mario Odyssey and you want to see that team learn and improve on what they did by quite a bit, and you like creatively exploring the world, even if the first couple layers are a little like made for toddlers, although still too hard for the opossum. Then yeah, that'll do it for you. If you played any of the Donkey Kong Country games on the Super Nintendo, you're going to get a ton out of this one. If those are
Okay.
near and dear to your heart, you're going to
They are.
absolutely love this game.
I got an NES pretty late on in life, and it had already phased out by that point. But I played the death out of the 3 Donkey Kong Country games,
Yeah,
particularly 3.
I'll tell you now. A character explicitly says this is a sequel to the Country games on the Super, and maybe 64 as well.
64 is kind of iffy whether or not it's actually canon in as far as such things go.
Canonicity doesn't matter so much about where a time and constructing a timeline. Just the
Yeah.
legacy is honored.
The legacy is what matters.
Yeah,
as far as I know, the Donkey Kong games basically go by Mario rules anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, everything's basically a stage show.
Yeah, it's not about the autists that try to construct a timeline. That's not important. What's important here
That's
is
not a thing.
Yeah, what's important here is that they remember the old games and the familiar things will be around.
That's good. Because those early games, Donkey Kong Country particularly, that trilogy had a certain charm that I don't think we've really seen since.
Yeah, and I'm specifically talking about the Super Nintendo Country games. So if those are near and dear to your heart, this game will have you hooting and hollering, especially in the last act.
Yeah, but unfortunately, one game does not a console purchase make.
No, but
unless it's something like your pet franchise, like a Monster Hunter or something like that.
Yeah, so the upshot of this is you need to remain unspoiled for the entire third act of this game somehow by magic for multiple months to years.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yay, I guess.
Because it just, if you know anything about the third act of this game, it simply will not have the same impact.
Yeesh.
Okay. But it was so good, there was audible hooting and hollering, and if it had been spoiled for me, it would not have gone that way.
Nice. That's really actually good to hear.
Yeah. But, also has the best final boss fight, period, and mechanically speaking, for any collectathon ever.
Right. Admittedly, Odyssey, while I enjoyed the Bowser fight, it did still feel anticlimactic, I guess.
It's still meet the conditions and do thing 3 times. Usually that's jump on his head. In Bowser's case, it was get the hat and punch him 3 times.
Yeah, then you stick the hat and mustache on Bowser and run like hell.
Yeah, this one has a health bar.
You pull a Samus Aran, basically.
Yeah, this final boss has a health bar, and it's not a small health bar. That's
what I want to hear. So yeah, there is one excellent game there. That's one.
Yeah, this is the game you needed to launch the console with.
Yes. If Metroid Prime 4 was exclusive to Switch 2, that along with Donkey Kong would probably do it for me.
Yeah, there's no way in heck Donkey Kong will run well on would run well on Switch 1. Why it's Switch 2.
I don't think it would run at all. because I
Yeah.
don't think the Switch one is actually capable of keeping track of that amount of terrain destruction.
No, you can destroy literally an entire level if you want.
Yeah.
So that's the TLDR on that.
Excellent.
Right. A lot of stuff happened in the background that I caught wind of very late this week because I was busy making whooping noises as I played Donkey Kong. But I only know the surface level of most of it, and I'm not sure what particular is juicy enough to go into any detail. So those of you that have been more informed with the news cycle might be able to inform me there on what's
Well,
worth
mostly
talking
I
about.
only just saw drama. I only saw drama. The collapse of V Shoujo
So
was the
much
big
drama.
drama this week.
Oh yeah, that's the drama this week.
I can't
Oh boy,
Yeah.
oh boy.
I can't say I'm surprised. Wasn't it run by like a tech bro?
Yeah, I guess you
It
call it
was,
that.
well, they all are to a greater or lesser extent, but
Yeah.
basically it was an absolute, like, it was just far enough into incompetence that you can't call it an actual scam. It was functionally a scam, but the people that are doing the scamming were not clever enough for it to be like, oh well, this is a purpose-built scam. This was just a spectacularly badly and dishonestly run VTuber agency. But
Yeah. When you have hundreds of thousands of dollars just disappearing into the void, especially money that was bound for charities.
well,
it,
the CEO claimed that he just didn't realize that was what it was for.
that makes it worse, honestly.
Yeah, that's
So basically, the short version is that Iron Mouse Iron Mouse suffers from immune deficiency disorder, and so she did a big fundraiser to the tune of $500,000 or something for
Mm.
a charity foundation specializing in that condition, and it disappeared. The $500,000 vanished into the ether and never made it to the charity. And when she called them to the carpet on this, they were just like, "Oh, we don't have it. We spent it."
Hey. Yeah.
So they
Hey.
just basically, and then it later became, as over time, as more people came out, it became apparent that basically none of their talents have been paid for 9 or 10 months now, and
Mhm.
that they were using all of the takings from their talents as just like the company slush fund. So it was essentially all embezzled. And they had
Yep.
nothing to pay their talents with, and assumed that somehow, by magic, they would just get caught up somehow.
You know, just somehow.
I presume that
It
this
might-
is how the people that just live on their credit cards think. If they
I
think at
guess.
all. This is, oh, it's just free money. It's nominally it's debt, but it's basically just free money, right?
Yeah. Wasn't it Gunrun who was famous for buying multiple yachts?
I don't know. I don't know a great deal about
One of
him,
them.
but his big problem though is that he had other than being a dishonest grifter, he had a massive inferiority complex towards the other agencies, particularly HoloLive. Like, he deeply resented HoloLive. Everything HoloLive did, he took as a personal insult. HoloLive, it would be like, we didn't know this person existed. It's probably more likely their reaction. But basically, after all this broke and Iron Mouse went loud with it, Kason called the CEOs to the carpet and interrogated them on what the hell they thought they were doing, and then quit live on stream in public for everybody to see.
that's
Yeah.
that's a very Coco
basically
thing to do.
It is, and everything kind of burned up from there.
Yeah,
Apparently,
and it was
Mouse
just
did run that
a
charity, by the way.
oh yeah, they reran the charity and got like double the takings of
They
last
doubled
time.
it, yeah. So
Because
happy ending on that front, at least.
yeah, because lots of people were competing to see, lots of the talents were competing to see who could raise the most money for it. But
Yeah.
the basically it was a landslide after Kason quit, and everybody else followed suit. Now this is going to result in a huge amount of tumult after the fact, I think, because it seems like a whole bunch of false information got circulated because it's the internet about the conditions of NDAs, and a lot of people who were still under NDA thought that they were no longer under NDA. Vishojo didn't go anywhere; it still exists as a business. So any
Yeah.
NDAs signed with them still exist. But a lot of people broke the NDAs thinking that it was all over. It is not all over. Whether or not they have any finances left in the piggy bank to sue their own ex-talents, different question. But
Even then,
yeah,
if they have to
I don't think that
if they have to liquefy the
Yeah.
company, whoever buys they can sell it whole cloth, and somebody could just buy V Shoujo's brand and keep the entity alive, and
Well, the thing
go
is
after them that way too.
beyond the talents, what is there really to sell? The talents in the case of V Shoujo own their own characters.
yeah, that was the shtick, was that the talents would be more independent and they would retain the IP to their characters,
Yeah,
so
so
they
if
could leave more
Kason wants to
easily.
jump ship and join up with, I don't know, Niji Sanji or something, she could be Kason over there as well.
Yeah, which
Or
is
what's more likely is the moment that stream was over, there was a phone call from Yago saying, "Let's go get coffee." But anyway,
but well, there were lots of people posting that Yago could do the funniest thing right now. But
he really could
yeah,
put Kason
I
on the Hololive.
Yago has a particular image that he wants to maintain for Hololive, and I think that Kason might be slightly too unhinged for that. But
Maybe a bit. Coco was pushing it. Kason is Coco without the filter.
But the story as it has come out is that most of the finances basically just went into staff salary. Like they were using all of the takings and all of the fundraising to make payroll.
Yeah.
Which is basically the sign of a moribund business, as it were.
Yeah. But as the time is going on, like some of the talents have lawyered up, but even the ones who haven't lawyered up and are just starting to spill the beans are starting to spill some very, very interesting beans.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, all it will take is a nominal amount of lawyering up to probably keep V Shoujo off their backs, because the IP is worth essentially, the V Shoujo IP is worth essentially nothing now because it's been publicly smeared so badly, and
Yeah.
they don't have the dosh to go after everybody. So all you need
Yeah.
to do is present yourself as too difficult of a target, and you'll probably get through this, provided that no angel investor comes with a chip on their shoulder comes along to try and sue them.
Which I don't see happening. Honestly, for the
Stranger
talents,
things have happened.
stranger things have happened, but for the most part, it seems like the talents are just going to keep on doing what they've always done. Mouse was off for about a week, and now she's back and just keeping on trucking
They
on.
were providing no money and so little support that there's basically no difference now.
Yeah, no,
Like, if they
basically
wanted-
a bunch of indies with a Discord server.
Yeah, if they wanted to just form a loose associated collective, then they'll be like all the other indie VTubers, essentially. Because the only reason people join a agency is for the support that they weren't getting. So yeah, it's basically much of a muchness to them. Like, it's probably emotionally quite damaging for some of them, because I know some of the earlier ones, like V Thought Melody, like they were in at the ground floor, and it was their dream to make it big through this venue, and she's going to have found that she was just being taken advantage of the entire time. But so for a lot of the founding members particularly, it's going to be devastating because they've invested so much of themselves in this exercise. But yeah, it's mostly good riddance to bad rubbish at this point. Like, these companies are all so awful for the most part. Like, Hololive is viewed by many as quite a straitjacket that doesn't seem to understand what they're doing. Like, they've basically got the Squeenix problem of not knowing when they're onto a good thing.
Yeah, at least in Hololive's case, though, is there's really no playbook to follow because they're kind of just making it up as they go along anyway.
And like, Niji's basically a black company.
Yeah.
Although it seems to vary, like Niji Sanji JP and Niji Sanji EN seem to almost be different beasts.
I really do.
But I think that we're likely to see a general drift back towards indie VTubing because too many people have been burned now.
Yeah.
And
You'll
to
probably see.
and alongside of that, also there's been a lot of scandals over the past 6 months from talents. Like, unless you're willing to, from the company's perspective, to retain a sort of the tight leash that HoloLive has over their talents, and from the talent perspective to submit to the tight leash that the agency wants to hold over you, it's just not safe for either side at this point. Because
Yeah.
there's too many scandals from the talent side and scandals from the agency side. So I think that most people are just going to be like, you know what? Indie's the way to go. Maybe I don't need to try and make my career in this. I can just do it as a side thing.
Yeah. So we'll probably have a period of indies or everywhere. Maybe a couple of companies or corpos will hang in there, and then maybe corpos will come back. Maybe.
I think that there's going to be a few ones that come and go, but I think we're likely to see basically niche associations where the oversight is kind of loose, like the one that Flork is running.
Yep.
And then there
More
might
of
be
a-
like one or two big dogs like HoloLive in the room that do like the stage shows and stuff.
Yeah. And then that'll be it. Because we've kind of had the big VTuber bubble come and go at this point with the plague. So when everyone's locked in their house, they've got nothing better to do than sit around watching anime waifus. So we're not going to see that sort of boom again.
Well, I mean, the government could try and lock everybody in their houses again.
I'll give them half a chance they will. But yeah, that's not going to end well if they try it.
I don't know. The way Britain's going right now, that might cause riots.
Yeah, huh?
Given
I
what
I
the hell
think
they've
that
been.
Britain is a breath away from civil war at this point.
It's a bit of a mess over there. Yes.
Yeah,
To
it's
put
like
it nicely.
when your politicians have reached a truly transcendental level of stupid. I mean, it's basically inevitable.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have to be inbred this time.
Not like the last few times. All right. So I think that's about it on the whole V Shoujo front. Basically, that's a very brief top-down summary of it.
I've seen a few clips of not shoujo related, but of Gura and Doobie and or what's her name now, Saba and Doobie,
Saba
and
now, yeah.
and Fauna going around, and it's nice to see them back together again. They're having a lot of fun.
Incidentally, is Mume back, or is she out of the loop completely?
I think she's still out for now.
She left largely for medical reasons. So
So
she
she might be
couldn't
gone
go
for a while.
she couldn't get back into the game immediately even if she wanted to. Because she
Yeah.
didn't really want to leave. It didn't seem to me that she really wanted to leave. It's just that she couldn't perform, and it was just dragging on and on. That she wasn't able to overcome her health issues, and she felt like she was sort of dragging the whole thing down. She was not able to continue being Mume because she was never around.
Yeah. That's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize is it all looks like fun and games, but VTubing is a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot that is expected of them. That's why they're always talking. The HoloLivers particularly always talk about their homework, and it's usually referring to all of the preparatory tasks that they have to do in order to get ready for any given stream and for the big events that's expected of them. Like, a lot of them have left over the course of time because they didn't sign up to be idols per se. They signed up to a VTuber agency, and it's sort of like it's Yago's thing is that he wanted to make an idol agency, but to a lot of their talents, that wasn't what they signed up to. But
Yep.
those types of things, the ones that stayed, they have to do all of the work preparing for that, And so, you've got they're always going to vocal lessons and dancing lessons and fitness training and so on to make sure that they can do the idol thing as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyway, I guess wish the Shoujo talents the best, except for the, the ones.
I'm sure
There's a
Kason
couple
will
there.
land on her feet no matter what she does.
Yeah, and Melody will land on someone's feet.
Oh, it's
I don't want to think about that.
not the feet she's going to land on.
No, it is not the feet. But I was going to
I
say
don't want to
something
think
worse.
about it.
But I was going to say something worse, but let's not. She kind of has a brand to maintain after all. All right, we should probably go and bop Daddy.
Yeah, we can help you with that.
Yeah, I did try full level Daddy earlier in the week, and I nearly got her. And that reminds me of why I failed, is because I ran out of resurrection items.
The penalty for getting hit in the Alicino fight is quite hefty. I think
It
it's
is.
probably the most ruthless as far as the bosses are concerned for just deciding to take you out because she feels like it.
Yeah, some of the squishier characters will just get one shot, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah, you can play us in there. Me and Vol can figure out some combo of characters to blow her up.
Got to find where she is on the map now.
Learned multiple times she is not a Sharky applicable boss.
No.
Spends too much time on them wires.
Them wires, yo.
So.
Anyway, we were doing your week, are we?
No, I don't have a week. I already did.
Oh, fair enough.
Donkey Kong was my week.
Monkey complete then.
Yep. But in the meantime, with
bananas.
Yep. The only thing really other for news stuff I saw was a huge crackdown by payment processors on adult content making the rounds on the news sites.
That's still going on, yes.
And it's escalating quickly. Now, this isn't particularly relevant to gaming for the most part for most people. But what it is relevant to me is these payment processors have been a problem for a certain website that I use, and that the owner of it is blacklisted by all of them. So the site will have regular downtimes, and I get my news from that. And so, if we can finally kick these payment processors in the butt so that he can get paid again, and I can have full access to the website of farming types that I use, so that I can keep getting news. The one I can't mention because of Vol's government. That would be nice.
We only very briefly touched on this whole thing last week, but yeah, the whole point has to be made that yes, you can just get rid of all the really nasty, sketchy stuff, and yeah, okay, they're doing it at the behest of crazy feminists.
Well, the problem is the precedent that it sets.
The precedent that it sets and the slippery slope.
Like, when you have your payment processor who gets to dictate morality to you, there's not really any constraint on it. Like, there's not really any reason that they can't just decide, okay, so you disagree with us politically on this thing, therefore you now can be debanked, is where that ends up, inevitably.
Yeah, we won't process your payments, and you can try to go someone else, but we all move in lockstep, so good luck with that.
Vol, do you want to be the healer, or do you want me to be the healer?
If I am going to be... the only healer that I have fully built is Escoffier.
That'll work. I'll be Ed if you can Scoffy me.
Will it work?
Well, I don't think elemental reactions are a major issue on this fight anyway, because she uses allegedly fire. She's more darkness, I guess. Darkness isn't really an element.
That's not really a thing here, I don't think.
It's just Bond of Life and fire damage.
Yeah.
I'm clicked in.
Yeah, I'm clicked in. I'm ready up.
You guys ready to go? Okay. You happy with those picks?
This is not a very good team
On the
setup,
plus
but
side, thankfully, Muv, we could doing donuts. Every hit attack counts as a power attack, so there's that advantage.
Yeah.
Bing, what?
Bang.
Uh-oh.
what?
Did I just go beep boop?
Did I just go beep boop?
No,
Something just
Ari
went
is
beep boop.
Ari is behaving perfectly normally for me. I did not hear any beep boop.
Uh-oh. Is Discord exploding on my end?
I have an idea.
Maybe?
Oh yeah, it won't
Oh,
let
I've
me.
got...
Yes, Fern. Yes, it was exploding.
There we go. Oh, okay. That was weird, but yeah. All right. So hopefully Discord will behave itself. Let us do this thing. Yeah.
You're a team
is-
synergy. Fantastic.
I mean, pseudo synergy, I guess.
Technically
just pretend it
speaking,
is.
there are reactions.
There are reactions that will be happening.
Eddie needs to put on some weight. She's too small for me to hit with all my bullets.
Gonna do knifey things. Get off the string, lady.
The good news is, well, she zips around more in the next phase. She does
Way less health.
Yeah,
She doesn't hit nearly as hard.
well, she does. She hits harder actually, but
You don't have to endure it for very long.
Yeah. And there's just half my health gone for no reason.
oh yeah, you have to time a dodge at the start of this phase every single time. Lost her. Where'd she go?
Bop.
There we go. That worked.
Okay. There we go. And with that, that hits me at level 30 of the battle pass. So now I've got weapons to rearrange.
Might want to do your pulls
Might-
first to see if you can if that changes your game plan for weapon rearranging.
It won't. I haven't even actually looked at what Emily actually needs
He's a
for her
polearm
build
user.
yet.
Probably the
Pole arms.
probably the Dendro set.
Yeah.
The same one you need one person on your team to wear if you have any Dendro on your team.
Oh wait.
Well, it
that did
depends. If
push me over
somebody's,
them.
it all depends. You need to have one person wearing Deepwood Memories, but
Yeah.
you don't. It doesn't need to be Emily.
Yeah, it could
It'll
be.
probably.
I think I've seen Bennett actually is the one that carries it on the Ganesh
Whoa.
teams.
I guess you don't really need Bennett's stats for anything.
No, just energy regen, and you can get that through substats.
I need to go and mooch off somebody's teapot for a moment.
You can go mooch one of ours. I can leave the world so that you can attempt to mooch pot.
So I didn't have quite enough points to get across the line. It's either that or I can go play card games.
I'm returning to my world once I finish loading. You can
Excellent.
On
Thank you.
motorcycles.
my world. You can go back.
Sadly, no. It's in this game. It's card games on dad jokes.
But yeah, if you don't have Deepwood Memories in the party, then number one, get Deepwood Memories in the party. But if you were to run a burning team and not have Unfinished Reverie on Emily, you're sort of doing it wrong.
I even have any pieces of Deepwood Memories? Probably not.
So you would probably want to like bring Yao Yao or someone and have Deepwood Memories there. Or Bennett, you can do Bennett.
Can do Bennett. Because Bennett basically comes out, drops his ultimate, and disappears again.
Yeah, you only
But
push
Yao
that
Yao is
skill.
adorable.
Yao Yao is the bringer of the Hellbeast.
Hellbeast also heals, which you will
Hellbeast
need
also heals.
when everything is on fire.
Which it is, constantly.
Still waiting on that Sumeru rerun so I can get my Nailu and start the meme team up.
Yeah, I don't think I've got any pieces of Deepwood Memories. I'm going to have to go farm some of that. But for now...
That's okay. I need to hit that domain too. I need the other set from it.
Yep.
I always need more of that other set for some stupid reason. Right now, I need an alternate set for Kokomi.
There's not really a good weapon for Emily, unless you've got a premium one. So just find something that suits you, basically. There's not really a good option. It's mainly her kit and its internal multipliers that enable things. She's not exactly an on-field character.
No, she pops up, she drops her... What is that thing anyway? A teapot? I don't know.
It's
drops her thing and leaves.
Sensor, isn't it?
It's not really a sensor. It's functionally a sensor, but it's for perfume, not incense. So a sensor is definitionally for incense.
Maybe it's very special perfume.
If you're thinking about getting one.
Traveling merchant.
Oh, I have. Oh, right. I don't have to obsess about my stupid plants anymore. I finally got the achievement for the water. Picking enough water plants.
I've been thinking about getting a sensor, but I don't want to set off the smoke alarms all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens every time I use my air fryer, so...
Don't have to explain to the nice fireman why that's happening.
It's it smells nice, at least.
It's traditional for when praying. It's symbolic of the prayers rising up to heaven. But it means you do need to have a charcoal briquette burning in your house near the smoke alarms.
Yeah, and they don't mix.
The local chapel, you can't build a building with having smoke alarms in it. But in a chapel, that's sort of a problem because you have to have incense. So there's sort of this shower cap that has been put over it.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
Okay. I will now bank out the battle pass. I will claim my Serpent's Bite, and that's Mavwika and Kanicha's weapons partially sorted.
Yes, but did you farm up the materials to upgrade Serpent Spine?
I did not, because I was too busy hammering away at the battle pass itself. But that means I got to go and grind domains.
That's fine. If the weapon domain happens to line up on a Saturday, we can help you.
I mean, I've got a Serpent Spine that's unupgraded as well, and I might need to use it at some point.
You have Verdict.
I know I have Verdict. I know I have Verdict. And it hurts. It hurts to think that I have Verdict. The thing is, Navia is 100% in my strike zone for favorite types of characters. She's a Josama character, etc. But something about her never really meshed with me. She's a little bit too chirpy for my tastes.
She does like to moan a lot in English.
Oh my. Actually, what homes does Barbara need?
Based on the prototypes for the new Geo character, I mean, she's supposed to be using the adult female model, So I'm thinking it's probably Nicole. But the prototype of her kit is a Geo character who is basically a fusion of Navia and Chaska.
Huh.
So there's not really much point in using her if you've got Navia or Chaska, because she does sort of just a combination of things. So basically, she vacuums up the crystals to use for bullets like Navia, but like Chaska, the crystals that she vacuums up will add elemental damage to her offensive ability.
I see.
So she will fire those crystals out based on the elements of the crystals that she sucked up.
Right. Okay, is that everything claimed? I think that's everything claimed.
Currency's starting to recover. I'm getting there on being able to be sure I can get Nailu when she comes back.
Gotta wait for that Sumeru banner.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's very likely she's going to appear before the next Sumeru banner, to be
No.
totally honest.
Oh.
All right.
Does
So
she have any like
somebody-
critical eidolons or anything?
She has a bunch that could help, but you don't need them to get Nailu Bloom online.
All right. So I still need a bunch more primos to do a full 10 pull. About 100 something. So that's
Once that
basically
she's-
tomorrow's
Have you done this week's or this event this week?
I have. And it wasn't particularly good.
No.
Have you unlocked Imaginarium Theater and done like the first 3 stages, like the easy ones?
And
I've
he
done
even
the first 3 stages.
I say, can you even
Spiral
do it?
Abyss? Well, you can
Spiral
usually
Abyss-
get into the first tier because they supply you with enough characters to do it normally.
Yeah, as long as you've got like I think 2 characters above level 60, you can do it.
Yeah, I think Spiral Abyss reset, so maybe you can see what you can do there.
I can go and have a look.
Is there anything else accessible from Stygian Onslaught for you, or did we get all the ones that we can co-op through to?
We got all that.
You did the test runs this week?
Chest runs?
Test
On-
runs.
Oh, the test runs? Yeah, did the test runs. This is all the stuff that's basically been my week, is going through and finding Primo Gems.
Being the Primo Gem scavenger.
Yes.
Have you claimed all of the Primo Gems for enhancing artifacts?
I believe I have.
Enhance. It's like 50 levels you have to get in artifacts to get that.
Well, they give it to you in tiers, so you can get it for like 100 tiers worth of upgrades or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's Clee's birthday.
Yeah, I got the bomb cake.
I think I
let's-
might have to pull for Clee's mother. As a long time user of Clee, begrudging user of Clee, and begrudging thrower of bombs at torches and missing constantly, I may just have to get Clee's mother.
Parabolic arc.
I still have.
I hope she attacks with a parabolic arc too. That would be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny. I do still have 2 floors of Spiral Abyss I need to get before I can get into Abyss mode.
Oh yeah,
They should be easy mode clears for you at this point.
yeah.
It's just about character levels up until that point.
Yeah.
But you do need 2 full parties of characters with reasonable levels.
Which I do not have.
You don't have two parties of level 70s?
I might be able to. No. I might be able to cobble something together.
What you need is more yeah.
I do need more Yao. Yao is the front runner. Yao is level 60, actually. Can I level up Yao's? I can level up Yao's. There we go. Now she's level 60. And I just need to run around Leeway to Ascender again. So there's one character.
Your best bets are going to be the 1.0 4 stars, the ones that are real showstoppers and continue to be important to the meta. So, you know, your Bennett's, your Shanglings, your Xingqiu, Sucrose, those ones.
Yeah. I just need to throw together something
Fischl.
that's actually going to function.
Have you upgraded Fischl at all?
Fischl, I have not, actually. I think Fischl's still at level 1 still.
Well, she's definitely a good off-field damage dealer who is still super relevant.
We both used her
Actually,
literally
most-
until we replaced her with Yamiko, and then we still used her because she's
I
still
still
good.
literally use Fischl every single day. Like she's on my team for farming noblesse oblige. So
yeah. Okay,
um,
Fischl's doable. I just need to go and fight the electro-hypostasis.
and listen to her yap.
And listen to her yap.
The ones the post 1.0 most powerful ones are probably Gaming and Lanyan, maybe Farazan, if you've got any of those.
Cookie Shinobu is handy to have.
I don't
Shinobu's
have
good, but
any of
nobody has Shinobu. That's the problem with Shinobu.
Nobody has Shinobu.
I got one.
Actually,
Yeah,
do I have
I've got one Chivrus. My one Chivrus is level 90 with a full set of artifacts, just in case I can ever squeeze a little bit of performance out of her.
No, I got Lanyan. I haven't done anything with Lanyan, but I've got her.
She's good. She's very good, and if you can play reasonably competently, you don't need healer if you have her because her shield is good enough.
Nice. And I pulled Yansan during the week.
Yansan's also good. I prefer Fischl because Fischl is simpler to use, but Yansan can be used in place of Fischl.
Yeah, Eon-san, you also... Well, you play Kanish. Eon-san will work fine.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you need a character that can zoom.
I do need the zoom.
You also
Zoom.
you also got to be careful to use her last.
She got a really short duration on her buffs.
Especially without constellations, yeah.
Wait, Fern's level 52? Doesn't that mean he can join our worlds now?
I thought he needed to be like the next adventure rank up, whatever that is, at 55.
Yeah,
it's
I
at
think that might
55.
be the case.
I thought they were in 10s or something.
Well, Larry's still not in my world yet, so let's see. Oop. That's the wrong button.
Oh, I can't use this character. This combination limited.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Talk to...
So I got to hit that next bracket.
Yeah, I think it's 55. I still am not 60.
No, you're not. Even though you've been out lawn
60
mowing.
Ages, and I've never mowed the lawn. I just unrolling in Mora. It's not very much Mora, but the constant trickle of Mora, for like just a little bit of extra Mora for everything that you do, it really helps cushion the blow when you have to do a big spend.
Yep.
I have 6 million, and all that'll vaporize as soon as I get a character.
Yeah, I think I've got a solid amount at the moment. I think yeah, I've got 5 million. Even though I just built Chivrus from scratch, I still have 5 million left.
So yeah, I don't think there's any more news or anything for the weekend. We're just yapping about Genshin, so we can probably wrap.
Yep. All right, we can do that.
All right, folks.
I thought there was something about Final Fantasy you were going to talk about.
Oh, right.
The live letter.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't have much to say aside from what Fern posted, because I have not watched the live letter.
Nor have I. I'm just too heartbroken still. I haven't gotten over the emotion of the breakup.
The live letter itself went for like 4 hours. I did not watch the whole thing.
How do you even do 4 hours of live letter?
Well, it's basically Yoshi P holding up a picture and saying, "Hey, look how cool his glamour is." Which, I mean, yeah,
That's not my problem with the game. My problem with the game is not the glamour. The problem is that the game is bad and the story is bad. Why? There's no excuse.
Yeah, they've started looking like they've started leaning towards the next expansion in terms of plot, and they say, and I'm just saying say because proof is in the pudding and all that the Warrior of Light will become back to the focus. Which
well,
is
it had better because it sure as heck didn't work out well for them when they took them away from the focus.
Yeah, you could have done it if you take the focus away from Warrior of Light for an established character, like Kryl. I think everyone would have been happy with that.
Well, everybody would have loved to go on Kryl's Big Adventure, but nobody got to go on Kryl's Big Adventure. Instead, we got
I wanted to go on Kryl's Big Adventure.
Instead, we got to see sodding stupid Catwoman fumbling around, making a complete ass of herself in every possible situation.
Yes. The expansion we could have had.
I mean, that would have been fine were it not for the fact that they were crediting her as being the Messiah for having done so.
Yes. But unfortunately, Kyriel's big mystery kind of got summed up in a space of about half an hour.
Talk about getting done dirty.
We still love you, Kryl. Where's the next patch?
Yes.
there.
So the big thing you posted that I had commentary on was about the deep dungeon.
Yes, I only posted a couple of topics on there because they did go into a fair bit of depth, which, again, a lot of that just kind of missed me, honestly. But the biggest thing that, a couple of the biggest things that I took away from it is that they decided that Eureka Orthos was too easy, and they want to bring it back to somewhere around where Heaven on High was.
But Heaven on High wasn't difficult because it was challenging. It was difficult because it was bullshit.
It was. It was cheap and random.
Like, it just made me angry most of the time. Like, I would rather do Palace of the Dead or Eureka Orthos. Like, Heaven on High is my least favorite, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness,
some of the
this is terrible.
I was pressing a button that I don't currently have because it's in multiplayer. There we go. So yeah, they've done some things like they're increasing the difficulty. They're going to have the visuals change a lot more often. The whole thing is set in Ilmeg, and it's going to involve Sin Eaters, which is pretty nice. Bring us back to a good expansion.
Instead of having the environment look the same, all the enemies will look the same.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of the downside of that expansion, is just the lack of enemy variety between the Sin Eaters. They're all kind of, yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be the last holdout where Sin Eaters are hiding, so they're not completely gone, and you're going to go through and basically wipe them out because Fairy Mama told you to.
Yeah. Looking at some of
As far
this, I don't know how to quite read this at a skim, but this looks awful.
It's like I said on in our chat channel. I don't think Square Enix is capable of determining what constitutes good design or bad design at all. I just think they don't understand.
Yeah.
They just do things, and when people respond well or poorly to something, they just guess which element it would be, and then design again, and hope that maybe something will go better. There's no other explanation for why they took out all of the things that people liked better about Bosnia compared to Eureka.
you can think of one other reason is that they're actively listening to feedback, but they're listening to the wrong feedback.
I think what this is a case
That's how
of.
we ended up with Hildebrand grade relic weapons.
So here is what I gather looking at this. This looks like they don't have any feedback from any kind of part of the deep dungeon community because it's very small.
Yeah, and autistic.
Yeah, like you need a certain type and level of autism to do deep dungeons. And they just are not getting any. So they are trying to mass appeal this crap as much as possible to get more people engaged with it to justify the dev time.
This is a story as old as time, though. When you mass appeal something, it ceases to appeal to anybody.
Yeah, like this stuff was a incredibly niche part of the game that the section of the community that played it liked because it was so niche. Like it allowed people that wanted something that gave them a sense of accomplishment to really go for it. It appealed to people that liked the randomized nature of it, so they could try and challenge themselves for better scores or better runs. People like the high risk, high reward nature of like doing solo stuff. Like this is a very unique type of content. The primary thing that I'm getting from this is they have totally missed the main challenging element of Deep Dungeon with what they're putting out here, and that is the fact that Deep Dungeons challenge comes from it being an endurance run.
The thing is, I don't understand how anybody could not understand that. Like, you simply can't work in the games industry and fail to understand that. Because you can't work in the games industry unless you've played video games before. Wouldn't make sense. And everybody who plays video games knows that sort of tense, adrenaline-drenched moment when you've made heaps of progress and everything is riding on your performance in the next 5 seconds, and that is the moment that you live for. That's the whole reason you play the game.
Yeah, that is the draw of Deep Dungeon, is the pressure mounts higher and higher with more and more to lose and more to do over again as you progress higher and higher. But the rewards get better and better, the coffers get better and better. And as you approach the top and clearing becomes more and more like a real thing that can happen, the possibility of losing out on that potential title and mount keep mounting on top of it, and finally beating the boss at the end after you've studied it and learned it as much as you could ahead of time and done everything possible to prepare and played well. That's all part of the experience, but relies on that pressure. Right here, what I'm looking at, they have included more restart points in this dungeon.
I have.
A lot more. Right now, there's a checkpoint you can start at floor 30 and progress through. And realistically, people aren't going to see the end of the dungeon unless they're committed to it right now. You have to want to really sit down with a group of friends and go through it if you want to see the end right now, because even skipping the first 30 floors, you're in for a ride. It's going to be a long haul, and you're going to have to be on point the whole time with the group, and if Fern goes and runs and triggers a trap in the middle of the room, well, you're all probably dead.
Yep. So it's good that you brought that up, actually, because they had a theme running through this whole live letter.
Mm-hmm.
And that theme was, we design content for various markets. So you've got your raiders and they've got their content. You've got your casuals, you've got their content. You've got the sweat lords and they've got their content. And so the whole theme of this is, how can we make content that is for one demographic more appealing to the others?
And that makes...
Why?
But why?
I know.
Like, there is I'm losing words and vocabulary. English. This is just... This is frustrating the more I look at and skim this stupid thing. Okay. So, in addition to that, they say they're aiming for heaven on high, right? Let's elaborate on what the heck I have a problem with when it comes to them saying that. Okay. So, Palace of the Dead does have random elements. You can occasionally get screwed over, but it is supremely unlikely to be 100% the dungeon's fault every time you go through Palace of the Dead. Yeah, you could get the dreaded Anzu floor. It happens. It's not very common, though. The number of mobs that can just that are just all no pools on a floor, you can usually find some ones that are accessible that might be tough to kill but still okay, and you can work around it and use palms to manage your time and try and make performance versus risk decisions every single time you do. This is risk management with the palms you have is part of the game. And Palace of the Dead is pretty good for that. It's mostly about just learning absolutely everything in there and being able to kill Behemoth before he blows you up.
Yes.
But that's Palace of the Dead. Eureka Orthos still keeps all of the endurance style mechanics of Palace of the Dead, and that you need to chew your way through. And especially on the early floors, which you have to do every single time because you got to start from floor 1 if you want to solo and get the Chivos. You still go through and have to, while the floors may be easier in that you don't have to deal with auto attack damage, the mechanics are all lethal.
Okay.
Which means you have to be on point for the entire run. I don't see that as easier. I just see that as a different type of attentiveness that you need to be on point for. It changes it from a constant kiting game of Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High to a mechanical execution game. But both still require full attention and execution the entire time. There's a lot of practical differences in the ways you push the buttons, but the end objective and performance here is still the same. You have to go for a very long time and be on point for the entire duration. Okay? Eureka Orthos, yep. I thought Eureka Orthos worked fine for that. Heaven on High, I have never completed because it does not follow this formula. Heaven on High is more roulette than any of the other ones put together. In Heaven on High, the raw number of mobs that can just screw you when soloing, as you get to the later floors, especially your 70s and higher, is astronomical. And every single mob on like the one of those floor sets says requires steel at minimum. You can get mob screwed in Heaven on High and just lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. It is the one that does it the most
Unfortunately,
option.
there's a certain class of game designer who thinks that roulette means infinitely fair.
Yeah, no.
No.
And Heaven on High has the opposite problem as well, in that it can potentially be too easy. You can get way higher than you have any business being just through Magicite because Magicite is so powerful.
It is game breaking. It really is. You can just skip floors with it.
Yeah, you get
I
two
know,
or
my perspective of only having played the 3 is that Eureka Orthos was perfect to my taste.
yeah.
It was exactly what it should be. I hated the second to last boss. I still get angry thinking about it because I think it's bullshit. But by and large, I thought that it was as good as Deep Dungeon should be.
Yeah, I would have reworked the demi-clone mechanic a little bit for the next one, and I would have gone out and made the starter floors have less health, and that's about it. That's all I would have done to change it.
Mhm.
Everything else, golden. Because nobody wants poor Uni.
No, I take pity on Uni. I miss Uni. I don't understand why there is this broad perception that everybody hated Eureka Orthos. What's there to hate? I don't understand.
Yeah, the only person in the Deep Dungeon community I know that hated Eureka Orthos is the one I don't like. That's Finn. Everybody else was either neutral or liked it.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, and I don't count.
Unfortunately, like I enjoy Palace of the Dead, but Palace of the Dead just goes on too long.
Well, that's part of the challenge of Palace of the Dead. Is
It is
it
part of the
go
challenge. But
is it goes on for that long. You need to do.
yeah, but
You,
as part of that is you've got like 50 dead floors.
yeah, and for those that have forgotten, I have both Once and Future Queen and Necromancer.
Yes.
So I might have a clue what I'm talking about here.
Have the tism.
Yes, my tism was fully engaged. So okay, so that's all obnoxious. Let's take a look at this other thing that's really making me mad. You can practice the floor 99 boss.
Yeah. Now, granted, you actually need to earn your way to it first.
That's great and all, but part of the challenge is how limited you get in practice. You have to be confident in your execution going in with a plan and be able to do it without practice. That is a unique aspect of Deep Dungeons. If you need that practice, it's going to take you a lot longer to get that solo clear. You need to be confident in very basic but fundamental execution, and you need to go in there knowing every mechanic of the boss and be able to functionally sight read it, just knowing what the mechanics actually are.
I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish by doing this.
Like that, the
Like,
final.
what is the actual result of them doing it? Like, what is the person that was not going to play Deep Dungeon before and is now going to play Deep Dungeon because of this feature? What is that person?
I genuinely don't think they understand that the people attached to Deep Dungeon have the tism.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
How can you hear Meiji's voice and not conclude that she has the tism?
like Meiji, like Sig, all of them, turbotism. Angelus Demonus, mega turbotism. Like, there, you have to be touched in the head, like had the entire wine glass cabinet dropped on your head as a baby to want to do this. I had that happen to me, by the way. True story.
Dear.
So like this is not for normal sane people. And if you genericize it, well, you've cut out your entire Deep Dungeon audience, or the people that are going to evangelize this content. Congratulations. I hope your marketing team can sell it to an entirely brand new audience when your current holders of the TISM don't stick with it and just go back to Palace of the Dead and Eureka Orthos.
Watch these MFs make it so you can't level in there either.
Probably.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, it's I genuinely don't know what the fudge they're thinking.
I don't think they do either. I think that they're doing shit at random and hoping that they'll land on something that's good. Because everything shows that they just don't understand their own design. They don't understand what parts of it do. They don't understand what parts of it are appealing. They don't understand what parts of it are successful. They just say, oh, well, there's this broad reaction to this broad game type. So in order for us to make more money, we need to broaden it some more. Like, that's the only thought process that appears to be taking place. They're
Like-
completely incompetent. And
Like-
this incompetence is just screamingly obvious throughout everything in Dawn Trail. The only thing that has had good reports is the very, very narrowly focused field of particular in-game boss fights have been well received. That's the only good thing. Every broader aspect of the gameplay has been complete trash.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen consistent praise for has been the Savage Raid boss design. That's it. And it's evident here that they just do not understand that the clientele for Deep Dungeon, you cannot broaden that appeal. You either have that level of tism or you don't. Like, it takes a very special and insane person to want to do Deep Dungeon as it is right now. And you are not going to broaden that appeal. Like, you have to, it is designed specifically, especially solo, for insane people. You cannot take that and twist it into something that is appealable to a mass audience. It's just not going to happen. You could try, and maybe you've seen that a lot of your community puts a lot of prestige on the titles and accolades you get from Deep Dungeon. There's a reason for that, and it has to do with how much of an autist you have to be to even stick your nose in there and attempt that crap. It's
The
because
only thing I can think of is that the depth of their analysis extends to, oh, we're seeing a lot of people are just running the easy levels over and over again in Palace of the Dead, which means that they must not like the later stages, and therefore we need to make it broader so everybody can go in there.
yeah,
It's like, no, they're leveling characters. That's what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
leveling characters.
yeah, and even if they're not doing that, they're probably still getting started because most people will try Deep Dungeon for a bit, realize just how much tism they need, and then say, "Nah, I can't," and stop that before they hurt themselves.
No, I just need Ari to put on his little hat and pick up his little tour guide flag and then lead me by the hand all the way through it. That's all I'm interested in.
Like there is it is not for your normal clientele. And if people are in there, they're either leveling characters or they're dabbling in it. And if they're dabbling, they're not going to get past like floor 100 in Palace. And,
And I still needed to perform, even though Ari was doing all the heavy lifting.
I got
still
you
needed
through
to
Eureka
perform.
Orthos twice.
All right.
Do
I'm
we
still
have-
flicking through the live letter. One thing we didn't mention about the practice mode for the boss is the version that you fight as a trial can be souped up.
Okay.
So you
What's that got to
you
do
can
with anything?
basically you can pump extra things in it to get extra rewards and more challenge. But that's the only other element of that.
But that was because the final boss is an unlockable boss for
Is an unlockable boss, yeah.
for trial purposes. But if you can learn the entire, if you don't need to unlock practice mode by beating it first, then the entire purpose of having a boss is completely eliminated. They don't permit you to do that for any other boss in the game.
Nope.
Yeah.
They do not.
And honestly, I think Excalibur was one of the greatest ideas they had for Deep Dungeon. This big capstone boss at the end of this huge endurance run, where you've had to perform harder in execution, certainly, than any of the other Deep Dungeons, and having one last big check that is just filled with very intense versions, very basic mechanics you've seen a lot, but still cranked up pretty high in intensity, and you need to know all of them and need to know the dance. Can you now do a proper full boss fight alone and managed to still pump out enough damage to kill it and get through. And he did not have a small number of mechanics at all. It was all about you need to memorize everything and then perform on the spot. And if you lose, you're starting over again. Try again when you get to floor 99 again.
I still think he's easier than the previous one.
So unless the
generator.
Yeah, so unless the actual in-dungeon version differs greatly from the trial version, it's a no-go.
Yeah, that is supposed to be the end of the pressure valve, the peak of pressure in these things. I'm using that word because it's the only way I can really think to describe it. And you go, people that do deep dungeons like this solo go there for that feeling of pressure and the need to perform under it. That's what we're here for.
Because they enjoy hyperventilating.
Yeah, we enjoy having a resting heart rate of 420 BPM. But if Excalibur had a practice mode, you wouldn't see me posting it on my YouTube channel. That would be
real talk. The reason why I only autos do this game mode is because you basically need to be on Ritalin to do it.
Yeah, you need forget that. You need cocaine for this crap.
Yeah.
This
gets intense.
Yeah, need to keep in mind absolutely, because you do not have time to sit there and read the guide every time you see an enemy again. You've got to have this crap memorized. And you've got to be able to do exactly what you need to every single time to a point where it's in muscle memory.
So the rest of the live letter, they talked about the new treasure dungeon, which is it's a treasure dungeon. New Crystal and Conflict. They've put a new map in, and they've added 2 more tiers after Crystal.
Yeah, don't
reasons.
I
guess
there are more fundamental problems. I might care about Crystalline Conflict if the rest of the game was in balance. It was a fun game mode when I tried it, but I just don't care right now. They have bigger
I know. It's
fish.
Realistically, though, to be fair, I think the Crystalline Conflict character kits are more enjoyable than the main game character kits.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, in a lot of cases, they're simpler, tighter.
I know they don't want to admit it, but if they want to keep these kits as button bloated as they do, if they get any more button bloated, they're going to have to allow players to use the mod that lets you have actions transform. I have no shame as a controller player anymore when I was playing using the mod that let me change overheat into or hypercharge into overheat on machinists.
Yeah, there are buttons in the game already, in the not counting PvP, that do that already. Machinist probably has most of them.
Yeah, well, so all that means is that they acknowledge the problem, but they just aren't willing to accept that it's a reality, that they have to deal with it across every character.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every class has your 1, 2, 3 combo. Why can't that all just be on the same button?
Yeah,
everyone.
That would free up a lot of button economy, especially because that combo
Black Mage doesn't.
That's true.
Black Mage doesn't.
But if for all the classes,
Pugilist.
if all the classes that have the 1, 2, 3 combo were rolled into one button, this would solve a lot of controller economy issues, because you have to give premium space to that basic rotation.
Yes.
It has to go on your face buttons, otherwise you cannot hit it consistently fast enough.
That is your primary input. It's got to be your quickest inputs. So yeah, getting rid of that, or in the case of Black Mage, the equivalent, like your basic cast rotation.
Yeah.
Or even just having your fire and your ice stance for Black Mage overlap.
Yeah, but the point there was the PvP kits already do all this crap and allow for a very economized use of the buttons without giving up any form of the class and the way it plays.
Oh hell, Summoner.
They're also way more distinctive, like that, from each other. Despite the fact that most of the buttons in PvP classes are shared with everybody, nevertheless, there's still more individualism in character to each of the individual PvP kits than there are to the main game ones.
Yeah, and despite
the main game ones are just bloated with every tool under the sun.
And more to the point, the PvE ones are all so homogenized that there is no player expression. There is only whatever is currently optimal that the spreadsheeters have spreadsheeted out. Now, this will be the case to a greater or lesser degree, no matter what you do. But in PvP,
MMO.
Yeah, but in PvP, in part because of the limited options, what you choose to do and what you choose, and because it's a PvP game, what you choose to save allows for a lot of player expression. And I don't think they necessarily need to keep just that level of player expression to PvP. I think some of it is transferable to PvE.
Yeah, I think some of it is. So you've got your base combo on one button, and then you've got your other tools which you press when they're needed.
Yeah. But yeah, it would just
Instead of
be
a 2-minute rotation, it brings it down to maybe a 1-minute rotation.
not even. Like for some classes
Not even.
it's literally like Ninja is a toolbox character. It doesn't have a rotation.
It is mash button and then mash other button when thing happens.
It is like, what do I need now? Pull it out. That's why I play Ninja so much. I like the toolbox.
I need the bunny is what I need right now.
Yeah, don't do the bunny.
And all I want is Unga Bunga, and I love the way the warrior expresses Unga Bunga in PvP. It feels great.
It jump at
Yeah.
people. It throw chain at people. It smack good.
I like the way
I
Dark Knight
feel
works in PvP. It's
I feel
like
vastly more
hide.
like when I play warrior in PvP, I feel vastly more impactful. Like every button that I press is like ultra meaningful. It's not part of a combo with 5 other things. It's just like press this button and boom, it has the effect that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In PvP as a white mage, I have a very fast charging ult, but I push my crowd control button and it's a game changer. I've got this person now a bunny that can't do anything and a well-timed one that stops them from shielding. Oh, it feels so good. Hitting that perfect laser beam on the whole enemy team, that's something only a white mage can do. And it feels really good when you bust that out in PvP in one of the not front lines, what's the other rival wings, and just stun the entire enemy team that's waiting there at the top of train or something. And or like on Bard, the nefarious silence that Bard has that's deceptively powerful and long lasting. You pop that at the right time.
PvP.
Yeah, you because that's really all they're useful for. But man, is that a powerful tool to have. The right silence at the right time. That tank that's been sitting there grouping up your team, all of a sudden he's locked out of his abilities and shield right when he jumped in the middle of your whole team, and he just gets liquefied.
Yep.
Like this is all crap that is unique to each individual class, and they all have something like this in PvP. They have
Yeah.
they have the ability to make class expression.
I'll never get over the machinist's one, where there's that healer sitting at the back that is just keeping everyone alive, and you can just pop him.
Yeah, unfortunately, they removed the one-shot chance on drill and chainsaw.
I know.
But see, the thing is, what the upshot of all this is that they do actually know how to design a character kit. They may have their issues, there may be balance problems, but I mean, they at least and conceptually they understand what it means for a kit to have its own identity because they did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's I think it really is just a function of they don't know what to do with the current player base, especially the PvE Raider player base, and trying to cater to them means they have to homogenize everything.
I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think that they might think that that's the case, but I don't know if it's actually true.
Yeah.
Because realistically, the diehard Raider base will adapt no matter what stupid bullshit you make them do.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody's got to like. I remember when we stopped playing, the healer kits had become so homogenized and the tank kits had become so homogenized. There was little difference between playing any of them other than aesthetics. Like everybody had their 20% damage reduction. Everybody had their big shield wall. Everybody could self heal or self sustain out the wazoo unless you were a gunbreaker, and then you were just sad. Like everybody had the AoE heal over time. Everybody had the AoE shield or the single target one, and the OGCD, which is the only one you were supposed to use, but you never did because you were always pugging crap, and somebody would go stand in the fire or go get owned by some AoE and wind up with 20 cheese spoofs. But they were all functionally the same class. I could set up my bars identically on White Mage and Astro, and aside from the card gimmick, play them exactly the same. Like on my tanks, I could set up Paladin and Warrior very similarly to each other and functionally play them the same. They've got a real homogenization problem in terms of gameplay that they need to address with PvE. Not to mention class identity, where some classes just don't have class mechanics anymore. Or Dragoon.
I mean, their mechanic was jump in the air and then lick the floor.
Well, they had a whole Dragon Eye mechanic with the double Dragon Gauge and whether or not your eye was open and how to get into Nastron mode and all that. All that's gone.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
just like a straightforward rotation that has lots of buttons in it now. Like the only variable is how many buttons you have to press. Like it's not really, there's no mechanic, there's nothing to play around per se. You just press this number of buttons in this order and you get effect. Like before there was like lots of timers to respect and positioning to respect and so on and so forth. Now it's just like, well, there's a whole pile of numbers, but your buffs are never going to fall off. Like I felt like a lot of those things were problems back in Heavenswood when it was really, really difficult to maintain your uptime as a Dragoon. And yeah, there were actually problems there. I think some of the things were too tight and too unreasonable, and the Dragoon didn't really work in a lot of situations. But instead of resolving that, they just made it so that you didn't really have to do anything. There was nothing asked of you. You just had to press a lot of buttons in a certain sequence, and to some extent you can almost infinitely boil that down to just hitting one button and doing all your DPS from one button press and then going on a long cooldown, because that's all it really boiled down to. Because none of the buttons interact with each other. There's no mechanics to Dragoon anymore. Nothing does anything per se. You just press a button and you get damage, and that enables the next button press to also do damage.
Yeah, there's a very, for most classes, there's a very strict button order you're supposed to hit, where if it allowed so, you could functionally make one macro to play the class.
Well, I tried reworked Pugilist for a little bit there, and basically it is whatever button has the glow on it, you press that. There is no decision making. It is just do what you're told.
Yeah. Didn't they remove positionals from it too?
Not entirely, but it's like 2 left.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the
Yeah,
biggest
they
defender of
dramatically-
positionals, but
I don't like positionals at all, but I used to at least have to respect them on Dragoon, but now it's basically not relevant anymore. Like, you can respect them if you want. If you don't, it makes almost no difference to your damage output. It does make a difference, so if you're min-maxing, then sure. But most people will make enough mistakes to offset any min-maxing they attempt to do, unless they are like quite refined in their playability. So it's not really that meaningful anymore, and there's only like one move that's really positional, one or two moves. So yeah, they know what they can do, because I've seen it in PvP that they know how to give a really distinct feel to a particular class, but they just can't stop wanting to be all things to all men everywhere else for some reason.
yeah, it's the conundrum that I've long bemoaned with MMO developers, where it's okay for one patch cycle for somebody to be a little underpowered or a little overpowered if it means you can diversify their kits. Some autistic group will find a use for it, as long as the kits are different.
It's like everybody's always bagging on Warrior for having too much self-heal. It's, oh, Warrior's ridiculous. Oh, look at all that Warrior self-heal. Oh, Warriors don't need a healer. Yeah, well, to whatever extent that is true, and it is true to a large extent, although it's always overplayed, like, that people will still expect you to do a wall-to-wall pull without a healer, and you do kind of live on a knife's edge if you do that, because if you lose cooldown for half a second, you die instantly. But the reason why it's that bad is because Warriors used to use self-healing to sustain. That was a thing they did. It was just their thing. And then they gave it to everybody else. So in order to make warriors again, they had to give more to warriors. But then warriors had too much health self-healing, so they gave it to everybody else. And then, oh, well, the warrior's going to lose their character, their class identity. We better give them more self-healing. And then everybody else needed it.
Yeah.
Like this is an endless arms race that stems only from trying to make every character be the same.
Yep. I remember in Walker when they took Paladin as the last holdout of the tanks that had a unique kit that didn't have a mirror to all the other ones with its dot based snapshot rotation. and just gutted that thing and just turned it into Warrior Light. But hey, we have pretty sword spell effects.
Yay.
That's enough, right? Never mind, the gameplay is now identical to every other tank.
Oh, yeah. So they've got, I guess, one bright spot, really, which is focusing the story back on the warrior. Great.
I mean, that's a potential to start course
Is the story
correcting.
any good though? Like the story still has to be good. It's not enough for it to just focus on the Warrior of Light.
Yeah, it's like,
Like
okay, well,
the
that's step
problem
one.
was never. The thing is that what that betrays is a total lack of understanding of what the problem was, though, right? Because the
Yep.
problem was never that the focus wasn't on the Warrior of Light. The problem was that the focus was on an asinine non-character.
Yes. That
Like
nobody likes.
there's Wiglamart didn't have a character other than is praised by everybody for every conceivable reason.
Is Mary Sue.
Like all of her challenges are non-events, and all of her failings are artificial. Like they're constructs of the story in order to be able to declare her victorious over them later. Like the problem is not that the Warrior of Light was in the focus. The problem is that you put something really, really, really retarded in the focus.
Yes.
Never mind that the story you tried to tell while that thing was in the focus was just butts.
It was just butts.
Like
Yeah, so
that was just awful.
it's never going to be sufficient to just put the Warrior of Light in the center of the story. The Warrior of Light was in the center of Vanilla's story as well, the 2.0
Yeah.
story.
The story that
They
didn't
didn't
start
make
until halfway through the base game.
Yeah, they didn't make all that stuff good. You were the
No.
focus. Everything was about what you were doing. To be fair, it was sensible in that the focus was about what you were doing because the only things you could see were what you were doing, and you weren't privy to what was going on in the rest of the world because you were rank and file goon. But at least it made sense, and as opposed
Church,
to
the Wiggly
everything.
fans.
Everything about the Woot Lamart story was just pure pretension. It wasn't writing. It was just like assuming that the audience must react in the way you have prescribed. That was the only hope that it had of attracting any accolade, was if everybody just did what you wanted them to do. But yeah, they're just putting the Warrior of Light back in the center is not going to accomplish anything. It's not going to change anything. You need to actually write a good story, and like I've said for everything else, Dawn Trail only shows that they don't know what constitutes good. They don't understand good. Good is not really a thing to them. They
Yeah,
just do a bunch of things and then wait for a response.
I am
It doesn't mean they're not capable of doing good things. The problem is that they don't understand what makes those things good.
Yeah, I'm leaning more and more on the theory that either that all the people involved with Shadowbringers that made it good aren't doing what the same thing they did before and are moved on to other positions of the company or left, or Shadowbringers was a fluke.
There we go. Sorry about that. Badly timed phone call.
But yeah, I'm not hopeful with these announcements for the new Deep Dungeon because they don't sound like they're made for somebody that enjoys Deep Dungeon.
They don't sound well. I'm even less hopeful because, laying aside Deep Dungeon itself, it betrays a deep lack of competence and understanding what constitutes good design for purpose. Because you have to design for a purpose. You can't design for no purpose. And broadening your appeal is literally designing for no particular purpose.
Yeah,
They have hard enough time designing when they have a clear goal in mind, let alone when they've got no goal whatsoever.
yeah, they were doing fine with the shotgun approach of just this content is for this group, this content is for this group, and we will tailor these particular pieces of content to each individual group. Like when the solo player autists have the deep dungeons, the people that like to go out and just play the video game, they got Baja. With the raiders, they got the raids. Like the casuals, they got the roulettes. Like the super casuals, they got the housing and the gold saucer. Like when you kept it all segregated and designed each part of the game for a particular group and didn't try to overbroaden any of them so that everybody would find something in the game that was close to their ballpark at the very least, you seem to be doing a lot better.
Hoped that it was going that way, but the first thing that told me it wasn't actually that way was Criterion, which
Mm-hmm.
was clearly designed for a particular group of people, right? People who wanted really challenging, really small group content that was quite focused. But then every move that they took after introducing it in the game was a means of discouraging people from generally playing it. Like, they didn't want that class of person to have a particular style of play to call their own. Like, there was something wrong with that if there was a narrow sector of people who wanted to play a particular game type.
Mm-hmm.
And this seems to be propagating throughout everything else that they do. They don't want there to be a group of people who call this their own thing and who raise it to a fine art. They want everything to be grey slop for everybody.
Yeah, like, and there's no point saying that's not going to happen because we've seen it before. That's what WoW did, basically. It's like we want everyone to do everything, and therefore it appeals to no one. We call that cataclysm. Oddly
Well,
enough.
we call that 5 point. I will forever hammer on that base Cataclysm had a good thing going.
Base Cataclysm, honestly, was a work of art.
And then the first
And then
patch
they poured
happened.
tomato soup all over it.
And then the first patch happened.
Then the first patch happened. And everything went to hell.
But also, first patch of Cataclysm was made for a particular demographic. The long-term MMO player that had been playing a while.
Yeah, we shall see. Honestly, I'm expecting them to announce the next Final Fantasy expansion sometime in the next few months, probably.
I don't even know that I want to get in on the ground floor next time, because I kind of want to see if they just shit all over the story again.
Yeah,
If they just say, "Hey, Dawn Trail never happened. Let's move on."
I don't think that'll even do it because they got to demonstrate competent writing is on the team. Like,
I don't even want them to just do that. I wanted them to demonstrate penitence. Like,
Yeah.
it's not enough for them to change their ways. I want them to repent. Like, it's not enough that they just, oh well, we'll do it differently next time. No, I want you to be deeply sorry for the crime you have committed. You wasted a lot of my time, you people.
Apologize for those sins. So, yeah, it's like, as much as I might want to jump in on the ground floor of the next expansion, because I do still love Final Fantasy 14. It's just, it's going to be hard to do it.
I'm definitely in jilted lover territory right now. Like, I need to see some penitence, because I just don't believe that they deserve any credit anymore. I can't accept the idea that if they promise to do better, that they will just do better. Why would I believe that?
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at with Final Fantasy 14 right now. I honestly don't know what it would take to make me come back and regularly play. I'm thinking of letting the houses go.
Well,
Well, okay, I wouldn't
one of the
mind.
things is,
I wouldn't mind letting the houses go so much. I'm thinking about letting the subs go.
It's a lot of go to let. Like, I
that is a
already let my
lot
house
to go.
That
Like,
is,
I couldn't stand the thought of playing anymore, so I let my house go. I was like, I don't even care if it's
Well,
still there. Don't
it
care.
probably is, actually, until this patch drops.
yeah,
They're only just turning the timers back on now.
Why are
Yeah.
they turning them on at all? Why can't they grow up and fix their game so this isn't an issue anymore?
yeah.
Reasons?
When the entire reason I'm still giving you money is you're barring over a year's worth, more than a year, like 2 years worth of work, behind me unsubbing. Those things were not cheap.
Yeah.
No, you're subbing because they are too lazy and incompetent to deal with their technical debt. Because this is not a problem that any other game on Earth has.
Yeah.
This is them being bad at their jobs. There's nothing else to it. There's no other excuse. They're bad at their jobs, and they're bad at their jobs because they don't care to be good.
Yeah.
And this is sort of like the level of bitterness I'm operating on that makes me not want to play.
Yeah.
That's an understandable one.
I do not know what it will take to make me come back as an active player. I don't know what it'll take to get me to start telling other people to play the game again, because I'm kind of in a state of constant. I don't know how I feel about 14 right now, other than I don't like where they're going. I don't like what I've experienced the last several patches I played, and it is just feels like a chore to log on and play. Like, it does not seem like any of the content that I want is coming down the pipeline, or in the stuff that nominally should be stuff I would be looking forward to. Seems to be littered with issues that make it not for me anymore. It's now for a generic audience. And sorry, I have the gamertism. That there are aspects to video games that I enjoy, and I look for those in games. And if you water those aspects of your game down to a point where the generic audience is the market you're trying to appeal to, and I can't do any kind of work on it to really hammer on it, you ain't got a product to sell me anymore. There are plenty of games that have watered down, genericized content. I can pick a dime a dozen of those. But I came to 14 and stayed with 14 for my last time I came into it, because it had content that fit the niches I was looking for, and it had a story that was engaging and fun. Well, that's not true anymore. Your content is more and more genericized. You have homogenized classes that do not feel distinct from each other to learn how to play and mess around with. And you've got a story that's butts.
So many butts.
Like, that just ain't a winning formula. So I don't know what they would have to do to get me back at this point. Repentance would help, but to get me back on board, they would need a total design philosophy shift.
Yeah, I think that's the case. So, all right, well, that's enough of that rant, because that went on a bit longer than expected.
Yeah, but they hurt us.
They hurts us.
Not as bad as Crunchyroll with Pinecone, but they still hurt us. Never gonna let people forget.
Give, never forget.
All right. Y'all got anything else? I think I'll send us out with that.
Oh, send us out.
All alive?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just checking a few things on my end, and I think we're good to go out. All right, folks. We will see